How's it going? You're the first guy. First person here. Three people. Okay, three people. I'm going to be the count. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Anton. How are you? So welcome to the live chat. Hey, greetings from Germany. How are you? Where in Germany are you from? Hey, Eric. Hey, Navigator. I'm just in a room today just because the garage is just too darn cold. So it's a little bit easier just being in here instead of not freezing my ass off as I talk to you guys for a couple hours outside. Yeah. So I'm just going to be adjusting my camera here because it's a little bit unstable. But how's it going, Lucas? Ramstein Air Base. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know where it is, but what city is that in? Oh, Spain too. Right, nice. Man, I got places to stay. I got couches to surf on all over the world now. Hey, anybody got a free couch? You never know, right? Being a YouTuber is a pretty tough job. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here to answer some questions this week or whatever. So if you guys have any questions, just throw them my way, and then I'll start answering them as I can anyway. Oh, nice. Okay, you're playing video games. What video game you're playing there, Anton? Or Arton? Dota 2. Okay, I don't know that name. I don't know that game. I'm not up on games, although I do enjoy them. But like I said, the YouTube channel's kind of taking up all my time as far as that's kind of my video game. My computer time's all taken up with video editing and music. But I like games. Games are fun. So yeah, so this week, yeah, just let me know what you guys want to talk about. I'm basically just doing the videos. A lot of times your guys' questions and answers I'm answering in individual videos because I find that's a really good way to address any sort of questions that come up, because it helps the channel grow too, because sometimes people are searching for that certain question that you guys are asking, right? So if I make an individual video, sometimes it works a little bit better than doing a whole Q&A sort of thing on it. So yeah, that's right, G-Monkey. Share my stuff. Yeah, share my stuff. Bam! Yeah. No, diabetes, you won't get diabetes from whey protein. You won't get diabetes from protein. You get diabetes from sugar or too many high glycemic carbs without protein, right? If you don't have enough protein in your diet, basically, the protein helps stabilize your blood sugar, right? So when your blood sugar is stable, then that basically helps counteract diabetes, right? So, yeah. Yeah, RoboWare. I don't know. It's funny that the typical thing on protein and kidneys and stuff like that. Sometimes people have pre-existing kidney problems, right? So even if they drink too much water, it can cause a kidney problem. But there is conflicting research about that. So I mean, I've talked to my brother about this extensively, and yeah, I'm not really sold on the whole protein killing the kidneys thing. If anything, I think we are way overgrained in this society than over protein, and there's a lot of doctors and people in the field that are actually researching that. It is possible to get skin problems from flavored creatine. Yes, it is. If there's a preservative or something in there that you're reacting to. Because sometimes in these creatine products, it's not just creatine. There's like chemical sort of additives and things like that to it, like flavorings and colorings and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say it is possible. So anything that's chemical can cause some sort of thing. Yeah, that's right, RoboWare. Yeah. Nice to see you again anyway, buddy. Yeah, it's good to see some of you guys. And one thing I want to say to you guys too is that there's a lot of you guys that have been really positive on my channel this week, and it's really great to have you around. So I'm trying my best to help you out as much as I can, because I am enjoying the positivity, and it helps offset some of the overwhelming negativity that's on the internet right now. So it's worth it to go through that when the positivity does come, when there's at least a group of people that are actually discussing, what's the best type of training for them and what's the best type of lifestyle choice, whatever that might be. I do enjoy facilitating that on this channel. So really what I'm here is just to help you find your way. I'm not here to tell you that the way that worked for me is the only way. It's just a matter of just being open to what works for you. So it is really great when you get a lot of people that come together that have this acceptance thing about other people and what they're doing. And then I think real science can begin. I think at that point, real science and real discovery can begin. So thanks a lot for throwing all the love my way, and to the other subscribers on this channel. I really also appreciate when you guys relate to each other and talk to each other, but there's a respect there and there's actually a real discussion because, like I said, half you guys would probably be really good friends if you actually ever met in public. So thanks a lot for that. Okay. Now you guys are talking here. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, Robin H. Listen to Attracting the Feminine video. It was great. Maybe feel so much better about things. Yeah, that's my other channel, Jason J. Gallant. That's my spiritual and meditation channel where I help people. It's like a self-help thing. Yeah, it's funny, when you're actually trying to be alpha, trying to be masculine, you're actually attracting the feminine in a certain way because what you have to do is embrace the feminine energy within you, which is your vitality, your life force. Okay, so we're talking about Eastern tradition. So just think of the energy that drives the body is the feminine energy, the prana, the chi, in Chinese medicine would be the chi, right? That is the feminine. So when you're open emotionally, you're actually allowing that passion to move through you. And then that passion can move through you in sports or anything you decide to do. But yeah, you must embrace the feminine side of you in order to have the masculine manifestation. That's the Eastern tradition. So yeah, we'll get all weird and philosophical here. Nimble Navigator, what's the fastest and best way to develop a square, big, aesthetic chest? Bench press or incline press? I would say bench press. In a lot of cases, bench press was fine for me, although it's always depending on how you're built. I knew this one guy when I was 19 years old. He would do these partial reps on chest. Like that was when it first kind of came to me that, wow, a full range is not necessarily going to build me a bigger chest. Well, anyway, this guy would just do partials at the bottom and he would just pump his chest up. I thought the thing was going to explode. He had the biggest chest to arm ratio I'd ever seen. And yeah, so bench press worked well for him. But other people will say adamantly that bench press will develop delts more and you should really do a lot more dumbbell work. And with them, I also agree because if there's instability in the joint, which is the thing I found, okay, so here's a big secret tip, okay, huge secret tip. When there's a different stability level in the joint, it will change what ranges will really hit a certain muscle group, okay? So for instance, when I dislocated my shoulder, bench press used to be fine when it was really tight, when the shoulder was really tight in there, but once the shoulder started sliding forward and back in the joint a little bit, what happened was now dumbbells worked way better because now it forced the chest to activate and it helped offset some of that sliding motion of the shoulder. Okay, so this is the reason why some people are debating. They're like, you're an idiot, bench press is the best. And then another person, you're an idiot, bench press sucks. Well, this is why. Sometimes people have different injury histories. And sometimes you might have subtle injuries you don't even know about. You just fell funny or you had a little bit of a bicycle accident or something or you tweaked something. And then all of a sudden that shoulder is not responding the same way. And it's not devastating. It's not a problem, but it will affect how you move subtly. The body's always going through these changes, right? It doesn't mean the changes are bad. It just means you have to kind of move with them and change your exercises based on that, right? Okay, so let me just go up here so I'm not missing people because yeah, Gustavo, incline bench. Yeah, see, incline bench has been working really well for me lately, but yeah, it just depends. I would say Gustavo, also bodybuilding is an art form, but it's also a sport as far as the type of training. So basically you train like you're in a sport, but the competition day isn't necessarily a sport. So yeah, I would say it's both. I would say it's a combination of both. I think some people say it's not a sport or not, but honestly, I would say it is a sport because I find bodybuilders, especially natural bodybuilders, okay, they seem to be really good at adapting to other sports. Like when I went to go play hockey, I was amazing at how fast I got good at that game and how fast I was on the ice. I was extremely fast. I was always the fastest guy on the ice, or at least one of the fastest. And I had only been skating for a couple of years, and I was already, whenever I went on that ice in a straight line, I was like a drag car, from all the power from the squats and stuff, okay? So I might not have had the skill set or the coordination because that's a skill that's developed over time with that sport, but definitely bodybuilding was transferable. If you train the muscle and you gain more strength, more power, more strength, endurance, that will translate to a lot of sports. So yeah, I would say it doesn't mean you're less alpha or something just because you're not necessarily classified as a sport, right? Okay, so Robo Warrior ways to specifically target the inner pec line other than close grip and flies, or is it genetic? That's the end all. It's the age old debate, right? The chicken or the egg type thing. Can you change the shape of a muscle or not? I firmly believe that you can change the shape of a muscle by this. It's an illusion, right? When you gain more muscle in an area, the shape will change. That's basically what happens. You know, when there's just so much space in an area, but it gets so big, guess what? Pulls over and then boom, you know, the inside starts to grow a bit. So the squeezing movements, I think, just help develop more chest. And I'm not talking about squeezing isometrically like I just did the video on, but what I'm talking about is movements that are tense all the way to here, right? Rather than just, you know, out to here, like barbell bench is out to here. So you're not getting that squeeze. So that might be one of the reasons why the debate is out there about barbell bench not necessarily working as good as chest. Because with barbell bench, you bench and then your shoulders take over. So you bench towards your eye line, you know what I'm saying, with the barbells? Because you don't have the option of coming inwards. Your hands can't slide along the bar. But if you could slide along the bar, then your chest would definitely get more activated by barbell bench in some way. Now, with dumbbells, your arm comes in a little bit. Now, I never come all the way in because there's no tension here. You see what I'm saying? From here to here, there's no tension. From here to here, there's tension. And yeah, there is a certain amount of chest development. So different angles. I always try different angles, and that's why you see me doing you know, I'm gripping like this and almost like this, you know, and I'm trying to kind of move like this as I come up to get that clavicular head and hit different heads. So yeah, you want to hit different angles as much as you can because you never know what kind of fibers or parts of the muscle that you will activate. Because yeah, the pec is an overall muscle and it connects here, but you have different heads, right? So if the pec connects here and then connects, you know, down here or connects here, like that, different pathways will hit the fibers dominantly in different areas, right? So yeah, you want to change the angles up. And I think there is a possibility that yes, your inner chest will grow, but not necessarily by itself. It's more about a reflection of the overall chest growing, and then it creates that illusion of a bigger inner chest. Whey protein bake. Yeah, so there you go. See, if only it was sponsored. What a sales tactic I did there, eh? If only it was sponsored. Man, I'd be a good sales guy, eh? Protein, yes. Yeah, I you know what, honestly, guys, in the last week or so, like you guys probably noticed, the last couple weeks with my videos, you've noticed that my physique is starting to come up. I think the extra protein from the whey protein has been really helping because I'm taking about extra 50 to 100 grams a day. It has been helping because I think I just couldn't absorb enough protein sometimes through my diet, and sometimes I might have been skipping a meal here and there, just sick of eating, you know. So the whey protein seems to be helping, yeah. Okay, let me just move up here. I'm sorry, I'm skipping a lot of your guys' comments here, so just forgive me. So yeah, if you want to do a super chat, then that'll guarantee I'll answer the super chats right away. But otherwise, I'll just have to scroll through here and help you as much as I can here. Oh, Tracy Wall, thanks, eh? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I like doing the dance videos. I know this is so funny. I want to talk about this a little bit. I had such an amazing amount. Like, but a lot of you guys are just laughing and having a good time because you know I'm just playing around, right, having fun, dancing my music and you know all this kind of stuff. But then there's always the odd person that's just absolutely totally offended. They're just like, how dare you? How dare you start dancing and having fun on your own YouTube channel? Because I'm here for information. Give me the information for free, damn it. Give me the information for free. And I want it in my own terms, in my own way. And I'm like, you know, those MFers could just go to my my website if they want it, and you know, you pay me for a consultation if you just want information. But if I'm going to give it to you for free, guess what? I'm going to do it my way. So you know, you're just going to have to deal with it. But anyway, yeah, I was getting these people saying, I'm unsubscribing, I'm so sick of this 80s shit music and stuff. So it was pretty funny. Yeah, RoboWarrior. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, okay, yeah, happy Easter, man. Yeah, have a great time, and don't eat too much chocolate. Yeah, Chase Taylor. Yeah, you know what that's like. Yeah, yeah. I see all your posts there, Chase. How you doing? You just had a speeding ticket, eh? Yeah, you gotta slow down. Come on, man. Can't go too fast out there. You know that'll destroy your gains if you hit a wall like that. So you slow down out there. You drive safe there, youngster. Rashab Jamie. Hi, Bolo. I do not look like Bolo. Okay, you know I don't. You know, there's a dude in the UK that actually started this whole Bolo thing. I'm not Bolo. Bolo is Asian. I don't know if you noticed the difference. I'm not Asian, man. Flash arrow, do you still have to target the shoulders directly if you already used it with a chest exercise? Yeah, there's different heads of the shoulders, right? There's side delts, rear delts, rotator cuff. So yeah, maybe your front delts don't necessarily need to get targeted quite the same way, but it is a good idea to target the other parts of the delt. That's why most of my bodybuilding career, and I talk about this, excuse me, I talk about this in a few of my shoulder training videos. A lot of times I will train the side delts and the rear delts more often than shoulder presses. I'll still do shoulder pressing days because they're great movements. Shoulder pressing is awesome. But at the same time, because I'm getting so much front delt work, I feel like sometimes you need to bring up the imbalances, right? So you want those imbalances to be corrected as much as possible. Uh, Pips tickus, okay? Should you do heavy weight to build traps? The thing is, yeah, I think heavyweight can do that. I've seen two different types of ways of building traps, okay? The way I built traps, right, was just, rotator cuff type stuff and lateral raises, high reps or medium reps for sure. And sometimes traps get activated too. If your shoulder's a little bit unstable, sometimes your traps have to come in and stabilize the area or assist with it. So sometimes you get more trap development from that. Also, I do the heavy bent over rows. But some people I've seen just do the super 4 or 5 plates for deadlifts or 4 or 5 plates for just shrugs and just hang in the weight there. That will also build some traps for sure. So I'm sure if I concentrated on heavier weight with my traps, maybe my traps would come up a little bit more. Rack pulls, Panda Bear, that's exactly it. Rack pulls are great. That's why I'm doing heavy Romanian deadlifts because I know I get some trap work as well as the hamstring work in there. So yeah, I think doing heavy work definitely will add some sort of size to the traps. It will help with that, but you just want to be careful. You want to make sure your lower back is in the right form, and you do want to mix up the rep ranges. I always talk about this. I just put a kid on a program. Okay, he was always training, but he was always training his 5 reps or 7 reps or 8 reps, thinking he's doing high reps. Well, I could put him on my program. The first thing he said to me, he said, "Oh, this program sucks." He goes, "This is effing easy. What the hell's wrong with you, right? These rep ranges, this is so easy." Well, anyway, 3 days into it, he's so freaking sore, he doesn't know what to do with himself. So some people underestimate the changing the rep ranges and how effective this is. Doing heavy all the time is not the best way to build muscle. If anything, it'll burn you out because it's overall harder on the system and the joints and the nervous system and everything, and it will burn out your nervous system faster than mixing the rep ranges up, okay? Nimble Navigator. Yeah, you can do 6 days a week training, got really tired and overtrained, but it just depends on how long your workouts are, you see? Like a lot of times people talk about 6 days a week training. Like I've always trained 6 days a week, 5, 6 days a week, always. But you don't get burned out if you manage your volume based on training 6 days a week. See, where some people, they'll do 6 days a week, but they'll train as if they're only training 3 days a week. So they have these huge, super long marathon workouts, and then they expect to maintain that 6 days a week, and you won't. Okay, so of course you're going to hit overtraining really fast if you do that. So you have to manage the volume and the intensities based on how frequent you train. And I noticed that if I manage the frequencies and intensities enough that I can train more often and constantly remind the body to grow, I get better results. Jagged Gaming, I started bodybuilding when I was 14, but I started lifting for the first time. I know this is going to sound insane, when I was 4.5 years old when a guy broke my crayons in kindergarten. Because my dad had weights in the garage and I always see him training because he was a powerlifter. And I started weight training then. So I learned that weight training can increase strength and stuff at a really, really early age. So yeah, I dabbled with bench presses when I was 10, dabbled with them when I was 12, but I never really stuck to it. But when I was 14, then I started and I stuck to it ever since then. Of course, then I did 10 years of hockey as well, got injured, shoulder injury, all this kind of stuff, and doing super intense cardio. So my training focus, my actual focus went to hockey for a period of time, not bodybuilding. So I wasn't really concerned about my diet as much. I wasn't concerned of whether I trained 4 days a week that week or 6 days. I trained about 3 or 4 days and then play hockey 4 days. So I was not focused on my physique for about, I'd say 7 years. I was really focused more on sports performance when it comes down to hockey. So it was useful for me to learn about how weight training and hockey and things go together. But at the same time, yeah, I'm basically in the midst of getting my gains back in some way because now this last 2 or 3 years, I've really focused just on training and trying to pump the muscles up. And it's been about the last 4 or 5 months that I've been really concentrating on my diet and increasing protein and everything because I was just too lazy to do it before that because I was like, oh my God, I just don't want to diet right now. I just don't want to diet. It's just not the right time. So now I'm really focusing on my diet. So this is why my mass is going up and I'm starting to return to my old form, right? I still got a little ways to go, but that's what's happening. Your diet is intensely important. It's amazing. It is such a big deal. Like so many people underestimate what how eating a certain amount of protein in a day will make a difference in how you feel in the gym and your pumps and everything. So yeah, don't underestimate the diet. That's for sure. Yeah, Nimble Navigator. That's your first mistake is that you're using somebody else's program. Don't be advertising other people's shit. My channel, eh? Okay. High carb muscle. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for the positive feedback. Basically free gold. That's right. Yeah, it is. It is actually. The thing is that there's the old saying, I'm not a religious dude, but Jesus, don't put pearls before swine. The funny thing is, I was doing content for the last 4 years, and a lot of times people are like, oh, that can't work because you're not in contest shape right now. But they're not really looking at what I had achieved already and saying, okay, this guy actually achieved something. So I always get the odd idiot in the gym that will be like, hey, you're not locking out. That means you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, are you doing the exercise to grow a chest or grow shoulders or to grow muscle mass? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so you're 150 pounds and you're going to tell me what's the best way to do it? I had a bit of a healthy argument or with this really nice guy in the gym the other day. And he was, I was just kidding with you, Nimble. so, so um, I had a healthy argument with a guy the other day. I was doing squats and stuff, and he was doing squats, and he's doing front squats, okay? But he was rounding his back like crazy because he wanted to get down really deep. And so he's rounding and just straining up, right? And I'm like, man, if you want some healthy advice here, like if you keep rounding your back like that, at some point something will pop. This will happen at some point. Once you get to a certain poundage or you're fatigued or the wrong day, something will pop. And he goes, oh no, but I believe in depth. I'm like, you believe in depth. Okay, but why? Why do you believe in depth? Like, what depth, right? What range of motion is right for you? I talk about this all the time on my channel, but he was really convinced that he has to go down in order to be big and strong. And I'm like, he goes, oh, I know guys that are squatting 700 pounds, these big dudes, and they go deep. I'm like, yeah, but does that mean that deep is right for you? Because if your back is rounding, obviously it's not. You have to learn how to do it while maintaining the neutral position or slight arch in your back. If you can't do this, then that means you need to basically adjust your form, right? But so many people get stuck in a vision. They get stuck in doing something just because that's the way it's done, but not because it's working. And that's the insanity that is in the fitness industry right now. It's absolutely fucking insane. It is insane that people say, no, this is what's done, but they don't think about why is it done? Or is it really applicable to them in that moment? That's the problem. So really start thinking. That's really what I'm trying to manifest here on this channel is to think about why it's done. Think about, is this really working for you? And just because there's a massive amount of people around you saying it doesn't mean it's true, because there's been a massive amount of idiots in society for a long freaking period of time. It has nothing to do with intelligence in a lot of cases, okay? So, shoot them up. No, we're about 2 weeks away. About 2 weeks away from moving to the new place. So you guys will see. I'll give you a tour when I go there. It's going to be really, really great because it's going to be a lot of outdoor type of areas for me to film, a whole new town of people for me to offend, run around with my camera, put in their face, who are you, that kind of stuff. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, no, it's going to be great because there's going to be more space, and I'm going to have, right now I'm in a room, but there's not really a lot of places inside the house for me to do editing or video, and there's going to be a lot more room for me to do that at the new house. So, and Renee definitely is never invited, and I could see her there, Yeah, I'll show you guys the house, and like I said, it's something that it's based on our other work and stuff. It's going to help facilitate that too, the meditation work and the workshops and things. So I know, Renee, I'm just kidding with you. What? Yeah, nice to see you, Renee. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get to Renee's question at some point here too. So don't worry, I've seen the questions, but you can repeat it, Renee, if you have to. It's just that I'm getting a lot of comments scrolling up and down here. Yeah, the nimble navigator. There's always, like I said, there's always the dudes that just do things and they get stuck in like, oh, this is more alpha. I'm a bigger man, or I'm a better bodybuilder because I'm lifting all the way to the floor. It's like, no, you're doing fucking yoga. You're not actually doing bodybuilding. You're not actually even lifting the weights. You're relaxing on your joints at the bottom, and just like an elastic band, you can go ding, 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 and then all of a sudden snap. At some point, something snaps, and it always happens to these mofos. But they're just sitting there with their little critical eye thinking that they know what they're talking about, right? So I've weathered this for a long time. I mean, when I was in the gym, my arms, my arms are not my weak link. Okay, they're not really my weak link. I mean, we could obviously say that that's probably not the area that I'm like, Jason, that's where you're shit, okay? And I had guys coming up to me in the gym all the time like, hey, you're not bicep curling all the way to the top. I'm like, well, I'm keeping my elbows back. So when I bring my elbows forward, I start to bring in my front delt. And that can be a relevant technique in some cases to hit different parts of the bicep. But when I keep my arms back and it looks like I'm almost cheating and doing half reps, my bicep hits failure long before everything else. And that's what I was doing. But they'd be like, hey, you're cheating. I'm like, yeah, okay, so how many trophies did you win last week? It's so funny. Some of these people, they just don't put the logic together. Like, they don't ask, oh, I can see that there's a result happening here. So what is right about this movement instead of about what's wrong? So this is the insanity of people's thinking. It's just crazy. So this is the kind of shit that I've had to deal with online, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with it with your debates with different people. But yeah, it's really funny, But yeah, the thing is, in Jordan, yeah, shitty form is all relative, right? What is shitty form? That's the problem. A lot of people think they understand what shitty form is. But shitty form, a lot of people think what shitty form is the form that fucking works. That's what doesn't make sense to me. The form that actually works is what they call shitty form. You know, like I'm doing 4 plates for squats the other day. I have it on video, so I'll have that up in, next week or two or whatever. And I arch my back slightly. Perfect. Hey, Nicola, how you doing? I arch my back and I come down to about 90 degrees, at the knee, so I'm not coming to parallel, because when I come down to parallel, guess what? Now I'm overstretching the joint and I can feel my hips stretching like crazy. It doesn't feel right. It's like a grinding. It's not right. I know it's not. But in this position, I'm in a power position and I rep up and down and my legs are sore and I get an overall great body workout from it. And if you look at every power sport, anybody that wants to explode into a position of starting real fast, they're not doing ass to the grass. They're in a 90-degree position. They're trying to find what's biomechanically advantageous to them. It's true for skating, it's true for sprinting, it's true for a lot of things. Sprinting, if you see sprinters, that's like one of the most power-dominated sports when it comes down to the hamstrings and the hips out there. And sprinters' knees barely ever bend to the 90-degree angle when they're running. They're like this. So this is about the angle. Sometimes it's a little bit more bent, right? But that's about it. So when you start to apply that type of logic to power training and to intensity, then you start to actually make results. And this is why my legs were always the biggest. Out of all the natural bodybuilders, I can absolutely tell you that my legs were always the biggest on stage, if not the top 2 guys on stage for size. It's because most guys were doing knee lifts. They were squatting off the knees, they were overstretching the joints, and then they were saying, geez, I don't know why I'm not getting that sweep. I'm not getting the hamstring development. They always had weak hamstrings. They turn around and it looked like a baby's ass. I mean, so what happens? They weren't actually activating the hamstrings. They were actually relaxing the hamstrings by bouncing off the bottom and then getting these wicked medialis sort of muscles by the knee. But when they turned around, it looked like I should be putting Johnson & Johnson baby lotion on their hamstrings, because there was not a freaking line, no tension, nothing there. But, they'd be the same type of guy that would look at me in the gym and say, oh, that's not the right way to do it. I'm like, well, you got to look at what's producing the result, right? That's the logic, So once you start looking at things that way, you're not invested in making people your way, but what you are is saying, hey, what the hell's working, right? So that's the big question I always want to ask these guys on the internet, and I can't reach through the comment section and choke them. I can't do that. I wish there was like an app. I could just, shut up. So because what you could do is basically just say, listen, what the hell is working? You're sitting there criticizing the shit out of me, but show me your results. Show me what's working. It's kind of like Bruce Lee. He had to fight everybody to prove what he was doing. It's like, my kung fu technique works for me, and he's just saying, be like the water, the water runs the way it needs to run. So that's the thing. Yeah, bolo mode activated. That's right. Yeah, exactly. That'd be totally bolo mode. Okay, any of you guys that are computer programmers out there that can choke people in the app on YouTube, create the app. Okay, we'll call it bolo mode. That'd be great. That's a good t-shirt, actually, bolo mode. That'd be good. Sorry, man, I'm just venting. I had so much love from you guys this week, so then I can share this frustration that's been online for a while. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know, Jordan. I was actually resonating with what you were saying. I know that you weren't actually being insulting, so don't worry. Yeah, I know you're my buddy. Don't worry, man. I totally understand where you were coming from, so thanks. Yeah, basically I was just saying that a lot of these guys out there that have an idea of great form, it's not necessarily a great form for a person in the circumstance. Sometimes the great form for that person is totally different than great form for another person. So once you realize this truth threads through all people and you find out where that truth applies, then it just totally takes on a different meaning, right? Happy Easter there, Flash. How you doing, buddy? Nice sunglasses. Bill Letterman, you're 57 years old, and he says, at your age, do you think you should worry less about putting a mass on than just general fitness plan? The last 4 years, I've actually put on some good muscle. Lately, things have stalled. Bill Letterman, it doesn't matter what age you're at, things stall anyway. It's not an overwhelming, like sometimes you talk to a 15-year-old kid, and I was the same way, okay? So I'm not dumping on the 15-year-olds here, okay? So any of you guys out there that might be younger than 15 or something, I'm not dumping on you. But what I'm saying is that I had this thought that the results just continue, they just go like this constantly all the way through your life. So by the time you're 80, you should look like the Incredible Hulk, right? Otherwise, you did something wrong in your training. But the fact is that you get to certain points and you plateau for a bit. It's almost like a stabilization time. It's where the time of the body finds a different homeostasis in a different it finds a different balance at that new level of muscle mass and metabolism and everything like that. And it needs to have that stable time for a period of time before it can grow again. It's like building a stable foundation. You don't want to build a house on a shaky foundation, right? That's the way muscle mass works. And I think that's why a lot of the unnatural guys develop a lot of health problems, because they just grow like this because they keep on putting hormones in their body. And then all of a sudden the foundation is weak, and then boom, stuff starts to go. So as a natural bodybuilder, what happens is you start to grow, but then there's a stabilization period of time. And I've seen this, and my brother and I have experienced this, where you plateau for periods of time. And the more elite you get and the stronger you get, the harder it will be for you to make gains, but you will be able to do it. Okay, so at 57, what should you concentrate on? I'd say concentrate on blood flow, concentrate on putting on muscle, because muscle is the youth. You know, that intensity, that's the youthfulness. So I think it's the fountain of youth in a lot of ways. So there's no reason why you should give up on muscle mass, but always pay attention to your body. Always go with what the biorhythms are showing you in that moment, okay? So if you're extremely sore, everything's tight, you know, yeah, you're not going to do a 5-rep day that day. I think that would be a disaster, right? So you want to always pay attention. First and foremost, your body is leading the way, and you can just ask it, you know, okay, please adapt in this area, please adapt, but don't demand, right? If you demand in the wrong circumstance, then sometimes the body will snap. So yeah, I think you're on the right track. Just keep on training, keep on paying attention to your body, and don't think that because you're 57 that you're done. There have been studies on 80-year-olds where they actually put on muscle mass, and don't ask me to show you the study because I saw it years ago. I don't know where the link is. But there have been studies on people that are at different ages actually putting on muscle mass. I believe the will is more important, and the clarity. The will and the clarity. If you have this, you can continue to go through many different barriers. There were injuries that I dealt with when I was in 2002, right? That now I can deal with just like that. I just know exactly how to deal with them, what I need to do, massage technique or diet or a different training technique to get around them. And it's just because of this clarity that I've developed. It isn't because of any other situation, really. It's just that I know how to deal with things because I'm so in touch with my body. So this is something that you can work on as well. So sometimes you need to body build, and sometimes you need to awareness build. Okay, so sometimes these plateaus are about awareness building. It's like you changing your set point, and now you're growing in your own awareness, and you'll have a better ability to understand how your body's communicating to you, right? Okay, so let me just go here. Yeah, Braden Walton. I'm fired up because you know what? I get a lot of comments from you guys, and I feed off your energy. Okay, so and I like bitching about things. It's kind of fun. So it's good entertainment, good family fun entertainment, right? But anyway, I like to talk to you guys about things. But when there's a lot of comments coming, then I'm trying to get my points out really fast. So that way I'm trying to keep up with the comments. So yeah, it looks like I'm on crack or something, but that's not the truth. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so Patrick L saying, yeah, he sees people rounding their back significantly while doing deadlifts, but I don't want to be that guy to say they're doing it wrong. Yeah, you know what? I stopped helping people a long time ago. I help people on this channel, so you know, like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I just create the pond, and then those that wish to come to drink from it, then they can do that. And usually, pain is the currency, right? When somebody's in a lot of pain, or they realize that somehow they hit a wall, like, okay, wait a second, maybe there's something else I need to learn here. Then they may look and start investigating, right? But yeah, there's some guys that are around on their backs like crazy when they deadlift because it's working for them because they have an extreme, you know, they haven't experienced that snap city thing. And when I was 18 years old, I actually herniated a disc doing that, and that experience taught me. So experience is the best teacher. So you know, everybody can speak, I can talk all day, but in the end, all my talking has to lead you to a greater experience of what you're doing. And if it doesn't, it's not going to help you because it's just going to be words that are lost in the wind, right? So a lot of these guys in the gym, they haven't snapped enough. They haven't snapped themselves up enough. And some people that I've seen that come around to me, even in the last few weeks, actually, some people come around, they're saying, hey, listen, Jason, I've been doing this and listening to this guy online and doing this online, and I've watched how you train, and it's different than these guys, and I'm actually training like these guys, and it's snapping me up. So what is it that you know? What is it that you're doing? And they're actually curious because they were getting hurt from doing it the other way. So sometimes you have to let somebody experience the repercussions of their own ignorance before they are ready to be taught. Right, Renee? No. I'm picking on you today, Renee, because you're right online with me, so. Nicola, are you out there too? No. So anyway, that's really kind of the unfortunate thing. Sometimes you have to sit back and watch your baby fail. You have to sit back and watch people like they're your children and just watch them fail. and watch them screw up, and then sometimes deal with them hating on you or saying things to you because you don't know any better. I'm going to make $1,000,000 from being a drug dealer and life's going to be easy, right? That kind of thing. I'm sure that discussion's been happening for the last 20 years with parents and kids that are belonging in jail, right? But only until they see the ignorance involved in what they're doing in their actions will they be ready for the next teaching. So I'm here, I'm creating a massive amount of content for this, and those of you that are receptive or ready for it then will come. And I'm so grateful to you guys, and I'm glad that I've been able to free a few of you from suffering in the gym and actually starting to enjoy this again. And it's a really great process. I mean, I think bodybuilding it's like a martial art. It's a very powerful process for you to connect and grow your own awareness. And when it's used in this way, the ego is really taken out of it. And sure, you can feel good about yourself, you can be confident, all this kind of stuff, but it's more about this relationship with the body. And anytime you are in a relationship with anything, and it's a true relationship, there's a joy involved in that. Okay, so Panda Bear's asking, are bodyweight exercise good for off days? I lift 3 times a week, full body workouts. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why bodyweight exercises can't be good, but you can, I mean, say for instance, you're only training 3 days a week because you think you'll overtrain if you train on those other days. Bodyweight exercises can be intense depending on what your strength level is, right? But if you're doing say you're doing shoulder presses with 95 pounds, and then you're on a bodyweight day, you're doing handstand push-ups, or handstand push-ups, basically, you're working those front delts, right? That could be really intense, and it's like a workout in itself. So you could still overtrain if training more than 3 days a week overtrains you. I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying that could. So just bear in mind with how intense it is. So if you're doing bodyweight exercises and you're able to get 50 reps or something like that, it might help just pump you up and get you ready for the next workout the next day. But it's just another form of frequency. It's exactly what I advocate, is frequent workouts, right? Richard Waterhouse, yeah. Not usually, or I try not to, but that does happen, yeah. He's asking, do you have gas when you work out? Yeah, Renee, yeah, that's the thing. There's a sickness moving through the bodybuilding field right now. It's like a freaking plague where there's so many people on drugs because they think that that's what they have to do to gain muscle, because they don't have the patience. This is like an instantaneous society, right? Like, oh, I want to get the app for something, go to the app store, or I want to get a song off iTunes, ding, 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 you know what I mean? Everything's instantaneous. So I think that this type of mentality is transferred into the consciousness in the fitness society even worse than before. Although it was bad for the last 30 years, but now it's even worse, it seems. It seems like the fitness industry is just a bunch of glorified drug addicts in a lot of ways, okay? So I know a lot of people hate me for that, but the thing is that this is what's happening. And I disagree with it. I think that it's absolutely horrible. I think that it's basically getting in the way of the actual relationship with the body, because people are trying to manipulate the body, and that has nothing to do with relationship. If you had a wife or a husband that just told you what to do all the time and beat you up when you didn't do what you told them, or when you didn't do what they told you, that wouldn't really be a relationship. If anything, that's slavery. So that's the same way drugs work. So yeah, it's stupid. I don't. That's why I don't really like the bodybuilding industry. I love bodybuilding, but I don't like the industry too much. Although I do think because the awareness is growing and there are a lot of people conducting their own experiment and experiencing some of these side effects and the repercussions of these drugs, there is a possibility that there will be a change coming with a lot of these people, and they will start to really look at natural bodybuilding in a more serious way and say, okay, what is this really, you know? Okay, just one second, I'm just going to deal with some here. Okay. Yeah, French bastard, yes, I am Canadian. I'm from the West Coast, I'm in Vancouver area. So we'll be moving to Harrison Hot Springs, which is about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes out of Vancouver. Yeah. But yeah, I'm Canadian. Hey, Joe Recon, what are the main health risks of anabolic drugs? You could look that up on Google. I'm sure you'll find a whole list of side effects. There's a million of them. But the one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that, like, I've had drug guys, okay, the steroid guys, talk to me and say, geez, Jay, I can't believe you're so big. You're bigger than me. How can that happen, right? But what they don't understand is that when they use drugs, it kills their testosterone levels. So once they start using a drug, then their testosterone levels never come up again. It messes up that delicate balance in the body. So then after, they're forced to use again. Just like any other drug, they're forced to use again in order to get results. And then they'll look at a natural guy and accuse him, say, oh, wow, that guy looks better than me. There's no way he's natural. Well, the thing is, I didn't mess my hormones up. I didn't start tampering with them through this substance, right? So that's one of the main side effects, is that it creates a dependency, you know? And when there's a dependency, then you're enslaved, right? So. Patrick L, do I leave the gym exhausted, energized? It depends what workout I'm doing. A lot of times I am energized in some way, but if I'm doing a really heavy back work type workout, like a lot of legs and stuff, then I'll be exhausted. It's pretty common for me for about an hour after the workout to take a nap or to be tired. But yeah, usually I leave the gym pretty pumped and excited if I have enough food and everything in my diet and I've slept a lot that day. Right, so it just depends on what you're doing. If you're doing really heavy lifts, sometimes you will have to shut down for a bit, because that's the way your nervous system basically has to reset. It's almost like flicking the breaker switch, because when you're lifting really heavy, your body's just firing that muscle so hard, so sometimes the brain needs to actually take a bit of a rest. So sometimes you can actually just close your eyes and go deep for a bit. Sometimes you don't even have to sleep, but just by going deep for about 10 or 15 minutes, you'll notice you'll just click right back, and you'll be refreshed and wide awake, alert, yeah, whatever. Okay. How many hours do I usually sleep? I'd say I actually sleep about 10 hours. Seriously. I'm about a 9-hour for sure guy. Let me see what time. Some of you guys don't, that's funny. Once I'll answer this question. Okay, I'll answer a couple questions here because this is funny. Yeah, I usually sleep about 8 hours at night. And then I take about an hour to 2-hour nap depending on what is going on in my system at the time. And there's multiple reasons for this. The meditation path has a little bit to do with it, but it's also the way my system runs. So I find that this helps me. I find a nap every day is really effective for me. If I don't take a nap, I find I'm not as effective at the gym. And I can go a few days without taking a nap, but most of the time a nap during the day plus the 8 or 9 hours at night is really good for me. So I find I recover the best that way. So actually, Toby Joy, I have a gym, or I have a video on that, home gym versus commercial gym. So you actually watch that video. I actually talk about that. So you can look that up just by clicking on the magnifying glass down there, and then home gym, versus commercial gym or whatever. So, but anyway, yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, somebody just asked me how much I sleep. But the other thing, somebody said, Jason, what do you really do? What do you really do for work? And I'm like, well, what do I really do for work is I'm actually doing a lot of media stuff. I do video work for people if they want, once in a while. It's like a part-time gig. I'll make music for people. Say they want me to fade their music in and out, say for a fitness competition or dance or something like that. I'll do that kind of stuff. But those are just all part-time gigs. But the thing is that I do work on this channel about 25 hours to 30 hours a week, right? So a lot of people think that, what do you really do, Jason? What do you really do? Well, the thing is, one video sometimes takes me 4 or 5 hours to edit, depending on the complexity of the video, how much voiceover work's needed, all that kind of stuff. So so sometimes that plays a factor. Sometimes I'm at the computer for 4 hours, and then I just want to shut down before I go to the gym. It's almost like I need to reset because you're editing and you're just looking at a computer screen for so long. So yeah, what do I really do? I do video work, a lot of it, and a lot of it has to do with this channel and making the programs and making things easy for you guys to see. So yeah, don't underestimate how much work I put into this channel. So when people ask me what I really do, well, what I really do is I'm really trying to get this information out there, And that's what I really do in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm doing the meditation thing, and I do sessions with that and everything too. But basically, I am spending a lot more time doing this than people think. They just see the 10-minute video, they're like, "Oh yeah, well, just 10 minutes went up, right?" It's like the 10 minutes took me about 3-4 hours to do. Okay. Okay, so G Monkey's saying you got a sore ligament, maybe tendon in your elbow from lat pull downs. Any advice to work around it? Bent over rows seem to be okay with it. Any others? Well, the problem is that you're stretching up, but I guarantee you, if you're getting elbow tendon problems, you're probably straightening a little bit too much, or when you're coming down, common problem I just corrected the other day. Okay, I'm gonna move here. Is people do this, and then they say, "Oh, I gotta touch my chest with a bar. How do I do that?" And they rotate it and they arm wrestle it down. You start arm wrestling the frickin' bar, you're gonna have elbow problems every frickin' time. And I see most of the guys in the gym, because they're like, "Oh, I'm such a girly guy, if I can't freaking bring it all the way to my chest," they start arm wrestling it down. So you're going to your nose. So have you been locking out, right? Or how are you doing your skull crushers, right? So these things need to be corrected. And if they're not corrected, or if there's not a problem with those things, then what weight or rep ranges are you using on your isolation movements with your elbows? That's another question. Okay, so I don't know what Bulgarian light is there, basement gains, so I just talk about my own thing. Everybody has a term for stuff, so you're gonna have to spell things out for me because I don't care about the terms. There's just always another lingo term, so everybody's got the branding, right? G Monkey, it could be skull crushers. If you're coming more down here to press than up like this, you could be putting too much stress in your elbow, and that could be inflaming up the elbow. 100%. Yeah, Jim, I'm 43 and I lift 5, 6 days a week, so why not? You could do it too. But just if you start noticing you get burned out, Jim, in 1974, if you start getting burned out, then what I would do is take an extra day off or stay with the same frequency, stay with the same workout regime, but lower your volume or your intensity. So what that means is if you're lifting like to maximum lifts, like if you're lifting a failure to about 8 reps or 7 reps, multiple times in the week, well then if you notice that you're starting to burn out of it, then up your rep range one day, like just do 15 reps instead, so that'll ease up the intensity on the joints and ease up the intensity on the nervous system and actually help you recover in different ways. So that's another thing. French Bastard, did I ever participate in a meditation seminar or pilgrimage in Asia or anything of the sort? Uh, not really. I didn't need to. I visited a lady named Aratima, who is my wife now, my partner. I wrote a book about her called Awakening with Aratima, and everything magical that needed to happen, that was that was what happened. So I write about all those supernatural sort of events in my book, and I talk about them sometimes. But yeah, I didn't need to go to India, although I had studied with a few different teachers that are in North America that did study with teachers in Asia and India and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, you don't need to go anywhere to study. You just need to be in front of a person that's developed a certain level of mastery, and they work like a Wi-Fi for you to find your way into a deeper level of truth. Oh, okay, one man band. Do I sell breeches to go with your shirts following you? I've busted out my clothes, mate. Great job. Yeah, well, the thing is, one man band, I've built some big legs and everything. Uh, but yeah, that's a problem. Finding pants is a real pain in the ass. So I remember going to the cleaners just a couple years ago with pants. Like you see these khakis I'm wearing and stuff. And I have to buy like, 2 or 3 inches bigger and then get them to take in the waist all the time when I go in there. So the guy's always like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you just buy pants that fit your legs? I'm like, there is not such a freaking pants. Like it doesn't work. Like the only pants that'll fit my legs are the dress pants, and they're the loose, really relaxed kind of fit, right? But when I went to Italy a couple years ago, there was some really wicked looking pants, like the nice colors, the material, everything really nice. But when I tried to put them on, I couldn't get them over my calf. I mean, my calves were too big, like, and that was the thigh part. So I was like, "What the hell? Like, these are like spandex." So I look around and I see these Italian dudes all like dressed up. I look like I'm wearing like a shopping cart, basically, or a couple burlap sacks. But yeah, none of the clothes will fit, so that's a problem. So actually, my wife was telling me, Jason, you should develop a bodybuilding a fashion sort of protocol. You should start like some sort of, yeah. Can you just see it like bodybuilders doing the catwalk? You know what I mean? Hilarious. So yeah, if I ever get the access to something like that, who knows? Maybe that'll start. I'll create like a bodybuilding pants line. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Bodan Crop, you're asking about what's my opinion of bodybuilding on a plant-based diet. Is it effective? Is it healthy and effective? There's a lot of people that would say it's not healthy. There's a lot of people that are spiritually kind of obsessive in some way that would say, no, you need to be plant and all this. You can get all the nutrients. But there's this age-old debate going on. But the thing is, humans aren't the same as other plant-based eating type animals, and it does take a certain amount of enzymes and stuff to digest certain foods. Now, genetically, maybe you're actually equipped for this. Okay, so I'm not saying that everybody's the same. There are different blood types. There are different ancestral lineages and everything like that. But for me, yeah, if I wasn't eating meat, my blood sugar would be up and down all over the place. It just would feel like I'm eating air all the time. It just would not feel right. So I don't think it's necessary. I think if anything, it's a nicer path. I mean, there's less blood and guts in it, but at the same time, I don't think it would work for me, right? But you can try it. Just try it out for a month or two. Maybe you'll feel better that way. But one thing I'm against is forcing people to eat a certain way just because of an idealism. And that's sometimes where I have a real problem with some of this movement of eating a certain way on the internet. People get obsessed and they almost treat it like a religion. And then they start trying to convert people to their religion because that's the right way to be. And I can't stand that crap. So yeah, I think it's based on the individual. So I'm open to you conducting an experiment. But if you want my opinion, I think that there are reasons why plant protein does not digest the same as meat protein. There are certain enzymes and certain parts of you that just don't have the capacity. Like for instance, a cow has 4 stomachs. There are certain different parts of the anatomy that these vegetarian type eaters have that help them digest and stew and cook the food for long periods of time in their digestive system, and that way they can pull the nutrients and the protein out. Where a human being has 1 stomach, it's kind of different, right? Now maybe you have 2, I don't know, but but the thing is that I think these things play a factor. That's all I'm saying. They play a factor. So yeah, try it out, see if it works for you. But I found when I drank plant protein like pumpkin seed protein or hemp protein, all that kind of stuff, I just got really bad gas and it didn't seem to digest. So it tasted good though. Yeah. Yeah, French bastard, you found fleece jeans at Mark's work warehouse, but your quads are popping out of them, but the stretch looks good for how long? Yeah, the problem is you stretch the quads and then, cramp the other areas of your body and you're always playing with the crotch all day. I can't stand that. Tight jeans on the crotch area, no thanks. Yeah, that just doesn't sound like fun. Yeah, cool, Boden. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you could help, or I could help you. You could help me, whatever. Panda bears are good to train with lightweight on the days off, the days that you take normally off then. It depends. I think it's good to take 1 day to 2 days totally off a week. It's good to take 1 day for sure, okay, for sure. But at the same time, that's the basis of my frequency type training program, the 2-day split. I have it on my website. Take a look, download it. The bottom line is that these 2-day splits, there's different rep ranges, so that way you can deal with the higher frequency and all that kind of stuff, right? Oh, I see. Okay, French bastards are very comfy. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. Don't want you crushing any of the other parts there, French bastard. Yeah, that's just unnecessary, right? Yeah. Okay. JD Kanush or Kanuch, could you give you some tips on the dumbbell row and how to activate the back of the arms? I don't know if you watched any of my vlogs. I'm gonna wait. Have you watched any of my workout vlogs, JD? Have you watched any of them? Because if you watch my playlist, go here, right here. There's a playlist section, and it's something called workout vlogs, and you will see me doing bent over dumbbell rows and bent over rows and all that kind of stuff. And I explain a lot of times in those workout vlogs how to activate the back. So the secret to building a big back. There's actually some videos like that where I have that in the title and all this. So look at those workouts. I really do explain it. It's all about pulling from the elbow instead of pulling from the bicep, right? A lot of people, they pull right here. They're like, hey, this is back. I'm training back. Look at me, I'm training back. But most of the movement's happening around bending the arm. How can that be training back, right? So back has to do with, okay, so JD, good, thanks. Yeah, you check that out, and then I'll also explain a little bit here. So the other one is pull the shoulders back and down, and elbows are almost like the weight is just hanging from the elbows. Hanging, right? So arm like puppet, hanging, right? Not this. Most people, when they do back, they're like, like pulling like this. You see how much I'm bending the arm? But a lot of people, when they do this, then they say, gee, why are my rear delts and my biceps fatiguing? Well, that's why, because they're pulling like this. But if you pull where the arm is just hanging, and you're pulling mostly with the back, and you're bringing the shoulders back, that's when you'll get a lot more back development. That is the secret. That's why my back grew. And like I said, I still had to deal with the overwhelming amount of idiots that would say, Jason, you're doing your pull-ups wrong because you're not coming all the way up over the bar. I'm like, no, that's a chin-up. That's not a pull-up, right? So when you pull with the elbows and you lean back, you're actually pulling with the back. So Guncolo Fluza, who are you calling a dickhead? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Guncolo? Calling you out there, buddy. Who are you calling a dickhead? One minute here, guys. Okay, I'll see you later there, Guncolo. Yeah. Some really frustrated, really weak little men out there, aren't there? Yeah. Okay, so high carb muscle. If I had problems with low testosterone levels, probably, but I never had to test it and I didn't give a shit. So, as much as I talk about not messing with your hormones and stuff, I also don't believe in the one thing that is causing all your problems in your body. Okay? I believe in more of a holistic approach. So although my twin brother said he had his testosterone levels tested several years ago and they were extremely low, the guy is strong like a truck. So ultimately there's more to this game than just hormones, right? So ultimately what you want to do is look at your body overall and say, what is going to help it be healthier? What is it? How do I feel in this moment? Because the systems in your body are always changing. You know, I'm sure one day if you take a blood test, you'll show certain things, and then another day, other things will come up. So I think sometimes people try to micromanage the wind. You know, different things are changing all the time. They try to micromanage it. But I think you're better off just finding the center point, listening to your body in any one moment, and continue to train and realize that your training and your eating will stimulate the hormone production that is needed in any one moment, right? Okay, CB Breaker, you said something. I don't know what you said. You said it's not a troll question, but I didn't know what you said. Oh, were you saying women are a good motivator for young men working out? CB Breaker, yeah, okay. A lot of people work out for that. I mean, who doesn't try to get better looking or try to attract a mate, all this kind of stuff. This all is in the beginning stages. That's probably why a lot of people work out. In my stage, it was more about crushing my enemies that I was getting bullied by in high school and stuff. Like that was it was like a Conan sort of experience for me. But ultimately, the girl thing was all part of it. You know, everybody wants to look better for the opposite sex in some way at certain parts in their life. And then you just, you know, at this point in my life, I just threw all that out the door. I don't care. I'm just like, here I am. I work out for me, right? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of times the different motives will govern people. And sometimes, yeah, the whole opposite sex thing will govern people why they want to get in shape. And that's why you see some people that get in a relationship and then all of a sudden their physique falls to hell because they're like, well, I just don't care about it anymore, right? So it means it wasn't a true passion. And I really think that people should follow their true passion, not to do things just to manipulate other people into liking them. What's the point, right? Kiri Yunikov, what do you prefer, away, concentrate, or isolate? I actually like isolate right now. I'm really having a really good time. I'm really having a good time with isolate. It seems to be digesting pretty good. I'm using the Kaizen stuff. I have the link down below in my whey protein video. So if you haven't watched that, then I have the link down there. But this one's grass-fed. The link that I could find on Amazon wasn't the grass-fed one. So sorry about that. I just couldn't find the link. There was no Amazon affiliate thing there, so I couldn't find it. So anyway, yeah. Why? I find it just digests well. It just absorbs right away in my body. I don't have to deal with any sort of gas or anything from it. It's just, it's not even like I'm noticing I'm drinking away. I don't get a nausea feeling. I feel pretty good. Do I use a pre-workout? I talk about this in the whey protein video about supplements and everything. This tastes pretty good too, just so you know. Do I use a pre-workout? I sometimes will use some branched chain amino acids sweetened with stevia, but I will not use anything that's sweetened with sucralose or any aspartame or any of that kind of crap. And I don't like any sort of fake caffeine stuff. If I'm going to have caffeine in my diet or whatever, I'll just have it through coffee. But the natural caffeine that already occurs in something is different than that chemical stuff they put in these shakes and stuff. So yeah. All right. So there's lots of questions here, guys. So I'm just... So if you guys want your question to show up at the top, you just donate a super chat, and then I'll answer that one immediately, okay? Just so you know. And just so you know, that helps support the channel, helps support me to do these live streams. As you notice, there's no advertising on here right now. So anyway, just so you know. Shoot them up. Yeah, it depends on which protein you tasted, right? This stuff's the way I isolate grass-fed stuff, but... Yeah, some people might not like the taste of stevia. That's the thing. You might not like the stevia taste, but I actually like it. No, great, CB Breaker. I'm glad that you're starting to get more passionate about this, because in the end, you have to do things because you want to do them. You know, as you get older, you stop, well, hopefully, if you're evolving anyway, you stop giving as much of a shit about what other people are thinking about you, and you stop being enslaved by that, you know, because it's just other people's opinions. So what's the point of always pleasing other people? And if all of your actions are based on pleasing other people, you're never pleasing yourself. And that's kind of tragic. And that's why I think we have a world of a lot of people walking around pretty miserable, right? The Senso 182, you're talking to the wrong guy. You're talking about testosterone stuff. This is a natural bodybuilding channel. I don't talk about this crap because I don't believe in it, okay? So talk to a doctor or something, but I don't believe in this crap, so... whey protein, yes, you can give children whey protein. I'm pretty sure about that. There's no reason why not. I knew guys that gave their kids whey protein and it helped them develop. I found actually when I started taking more protein in my diet, a lot of childhood sort of maladies that I had, like problems, went away. Like I used to develop this cough every single fall and I would cough all the time and everything. I don't believe in taking male hormones, la Sensel or the Sensel. Yeah, I believe that hormones are naturally occurring in your body, but I don't believe in taking that shit, okay? So I don't know what part of that is hard for you to understand, but this is a natural bodybuilding channel. I don't believe in taking drugs, okay? So this shouldn't be a surprise. It's called Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. Always somebody, eh? Always somebody. Okay, so yeah, anyway, increasing your protein, I think, really helps. I think that increasing protein really helps you basically develop. The thing is also, most of your system is made up of protein and essential fats, right? So protein and essential fats are the building blocks of everything. So if you don't have enough, then your body's gonna be trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, right? And that can cause certain problems. Your white blood cells too are also made a lot of, antibodies and things are made of protein, right? So if you don't have enough, then your immune system won't be able to function the same way either. So whey protein can help make up the difference, right? The Sensel, doctors prescribe testosterone, but doctors also prescribe Percocet. Doctors also prescribe a bunch of painkillers that kill people. They also tell people to take the flu shot. Okay, so doctors are not necessarily gods. Okay, so I don't know what you have up, what you're talking about there. Basically, what they are, in a lot of cases, is pill peddlers, and they cause people more pain and suffering than really help them. Okay, so the fact is that their advice is not always as true as you might think. Their advice is sometimes given to them by the pharmaceutical companies that are the ones trying to peddle more drugs. So your argument about testosterone being prescribed by a doctor, making it right and making it healthy for you is not necessarily true, okay? And I'm not claiming to be a doctor, so I'm not claiming to give you testosterone advice here. Yeah, your cousin, Rashab Jain, your cousin brother is severely anorexic. He's going into ninth grade and only weighs 36 kilograms. I'm going to force feed him whey now. Yeah, whey protein can help for sure. Yeah, because the body's totally catabolic at that stage, right? So yeah, anytime you can get any nutrition in them whatsoever, that's going to, help keep them alive at that point. And that's where whey protein, I believe, was developed. A lot of times there was burn victims in the hospital, and because they were so severely burned, what was happening is that the body was eating up their muscle tissue to heal the skin, right? So it was trying to get those, the protein, the amino acids from the muscle tissue, because that's how your body stores protein in order to rebuild the skin. So from that, they decided, hey, if we give these people more protein, what will happen? And a lot of times the people were drinking whey protein as they were healing from these burns. They were actually putting on muscle mass, and no longer were they catabolizing their entire system. Okay, when to take protein? I mean, in the morning, after wake up, or before sleep. I take protein wherever I need a meal. That's what I do. I take protein wherever I need a meal. I don't take protein like some sort of magical pill or something, because all it is really food for me. But I think a good place where it can really be absorbed really fast and be useful is probably during or after a workout. I've been experimenting with this a little bit, so you'll see in some of my workout vlogs, I've been taking whey protein with me into the gym and sipping at it the whole time I'm training. So I think in cases like that, it may actually help increase your recovery. But this is an experiment I'm doing. But do I have any concrete evidence on this? I don't. Really what I do is I use whey protein, is just like this case right now. I know I'm going to be online for a couple hours and I want to make sure my body has some protein while I'm here. I won't have a chance to access chicken breast or anything. So I'm just drinking whey protein, right? Okay. Bye-bye, Sensel. Richie Rich, how good are BCAAs really? Actually, if you drink them, you'll notice that your energy does come up quite a bit, because what happens with BCAAs, they're just essential amino acids that get absorbed right into the system, so they don't have to be digested by the body. The body doesn't really have to digest them and break them down. They just absorb right through the stomach wall. So because of that, you get instant access to protein in your bloodstream, so then it's easier for you to recover from your workout and you get some good energy, right? Hey, from Poland, Smile Slow. How you doing, buddy? Okay. All right, just to remind you guys, this is a natural bodybuilding channel, so I don't give a crap about all this other crap some of these guys are talking about here. It's just stupid. It's all stupidity to me. Like I said, a lot of people are enslaved into stupid thinking, and I just don't even give a shit about it. So if you wonder why I don't, uh, you know, I don't, I am all into the natural stuff. I'm all into stuff that creates more health. But I'm not into anything that says take a pill, create an effect in the body, and never deal with the underlying issue of why your body is responding a certain way. Why is your body having a messed up hormone level? Are you emotionally broken? Are you having trouble dealing with stress in your life? These things are the most important thing. That's the stuff you got to deal with. And a lot of times people underestimate that, right? So that's why I don't talk about these other things, because I don't believe in them. I don't believe in taking a pill to mask a symptom. You need to deal with the root issue, right? It's like somebody not eating any calories and saying, oh, I'm going to take a hormone in order to increase muscle mass when they're not willing to eat, right? So sorry if I seem a little bit fiery, but honestly, I'm just beyond the point of even giving a shit anymore. I care about people, but I don't care about stuff that is going to empower people into hurting themselves. That's just something I'm very passionate about. So sorry if I sound a little bit like a jerk sometimes, but I lots of love to all of you guys out there. So I'm not trying to spoil the parade today, but that's just what happens. So. Panda Bear, you said you once tried meditating and felt like you were going to leave your body. You didn't really continue meditating when that feeling happened. Is this normal? Yes, a lot of things are normal because your experience of the body is what you're leaving. Okay, so when you meditate, you'll become aware of how your point of view is creating a certain experience. But when you leave that point of view to get a grander, bigger, wider scape point of view, a greater level of reality will be apparent for you. Okay, it'll be apparent to you. And from that, you'll have the experience almost like you're leaving your body, but it doesn't mean you're actually really leaving your body. You're leaving the thought of the body. You're leaving of what you think to be the body. That's what you're leaving. So really what you're doing is cleansing out illusion. So this is a good thing, okay? This just happens. So don't be afraid of it. It's okay. You're fine. And just continue. I would encourage you to continue. High carb muscle, would I mix rep ranges in one workout or within different workouts per week? I've done some videos on this, but I encourage both. So sometimes you'll say, hey, I'm going to do an intense day, 15 reps. Like, okay, I'll just talk about myself for a second because, nobody else to talk to here. So I'm just talking to myself. Jason, what do you think? Should you do high carbs today or high protein today or high reps or low reps? I'm just going to interview myself here. So the fact is that I'll go into the gym, I'll see how I feel, right? And sometimes I'll lift a weight and I go, something feels a little tight or I feel a little weak, almost like you feel like you have no push. So I'll make decisions based on that and I'll say, okay, I don't really have much of a push. So instead of trying to make a rock into a bird, I'm going to basically say, okay, what is here? And maybe an endurance workout, something less intense will actually help pump blood into the area so that I'll feel strong next day. And that's when I'll do the low rep day, right? But then some days you feel super strong, but you feel after you've done your strength workout, oh, I got so much energy, so much left, right? And then you rep out after because you've got more to burn that muscle out. So you feel like you can still kick the crap out of that muscle a little bit more. Your nervous system might be burned out, so your coordination's a little off with the heavy weight. But then you're thinking, hey, and now I can actually push that muscle more because I have some more energy to burn. So that might be a workout you want to mix the rep ranges up. You want to do low reps and then high reps and really beat the crap out of that muscle. So I think it would work that way. So I basically go on my own body's guidance in this, but I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong way. I think it's just whatever way you feel inspired by in that moment can really help you, right? 1 second here. Let's go change something here. Okay, so here's muscles here. Here's the muscles. There you go. See? My favorite book related to health and fitness. What's my favorite book? One that I haven't written yet. I don't believe in SARMs either there, Alexander the Great. I don't believe in any of that crap. So I believe in whey protein. I believe in eating chicken breasts. I believe in getting your diet right and your training right and your sleep right. But I don't believe in any of the other stuff. French Bastard, a good meditation technique book suggestion. Well, you can get an idea of how I start and all this kind of stuff in my own book, Awakening with Aratima. It's on jasongallant.ca. You can find it there. That's my other website. And that's a good idea. So if you want. But as far as meditation books, a neat book, it's not really an instructional book, but a neat book to read is Autobiography of a Yogi. And that's a great book to read because it really talks about some really weird supernatural experiences that happened on the meditation path as this one guy, Paramahansa Yogananda, was studying under this one teacher. Okay, sorry, I just went to close the window because somebody was outside making noise. Sorry about that, David. Okay. Okay, so let me just scroll up here. HN, do I use elbow sleeves for elbow pain for benching? If you're getting elbow pain from benching, that means something you're doing in your training is wrong. Okay, there's something going on there. So I don't use elbow sleeves, I don't use knee sleeves, and I don't even use a belt, right? So that's the funny thing. People are walking around with elbow sleeves and knee sleeves on and all this different types of contraptions, and they're saying, I have joint pain, but my technique is still right, and that is a problem. Because if you're having joint pain, then that means your technique might not necessarily be right. I'm not saying there can't be other issues. Sometimes there's sports injuries and stuff that might come into it. Maybe you're getting joint pain from something else. I get that too. But at the same time, if you're developing elbow pain, there is something you're doing wrong with your tricep workouts, something you're doing wrong with your back workouts possibly, or something that just needs to be assessed. Maybe you have something going on behind the rear delt, like a massage technique. Maybe you need to get some massage on the rear delt or on the rotator cuff that's referring pain down there. Okay, so sometimes releasing trigger points or problems that are keeping the stabilization muscles from doing their job in the shoulder can sometimes refer pain down right to the elbow. So there can be a number of things going on there. Non-stop clashing with JD. You want six-pack abs? Any tips? Look on my videos for fat loss and cardio and stuff, and about how to do cardio properly for it, how to manage your diet. I talk about all of this in my videos about how to lose fat and gain muscle. So there's videos called How to Lose Fat and Gain Muscle. Just go in the little magnifying glass here, How to Lose Fat and Gain Muscle. There'll be a bunch of videos that come up. Yeah, Panda Bear, sometimes range of motion is also part of it, for sure. Yeah, sometimes you need to change the range of motion if you have problems with your elbows or something. Okay. 1 second here. I'm going to roll up here. Roll up. Roll up. See what all the questions are. So a guy X3I4N. Hey dude, I'm a runner, but I enjoy training my arms, pecs, back, etc. I don't want to become very buffed and gain a lot of mass. How do you stay lean? Longer reps? I don't know what you mean longer reps. Do you mean more reps? Maybe you need more reps. The thing is, you don't have to worry about getting too buff. If you're going to be running as your main thing, your body will prevent you from getting too buff. That's the bottom line. The body will always prioritize cardio over weight training. It will always prioritize that. It'll always prioritize, it's just like having gas shortage, okay? So say you go to the gas station, there's no gas there. It would be stupid for you to get a V12, right? You'd want a 4-cylinder engine in your car at that point because you know there's going to be a shortage of gas. Well, it's the same thing. When you're doing a lot of cardio, you're burning a lot of calories. You're burning so much calories, and you're also heavier. So the body knows somehow through this plyo, through running, that it would be better at this type of exercise if it got lighter and at the same time didn't have to carry so much muscle. So it's not going to want to carry a lot of muscle through the pecs, a lot of muscle through the back, a lot of muscle through the legs especially. So running, really intense stuff will burn off muscle. So how to get lean? Well, running is not necessarily always the best way to do it. Sometimes you end up becoming smaller and fatter. That's what happens because your body says, hey, how do I store more calories for the next really long run? And then it stores those calories. So I think cardio can sometimes work for some people and they can develop a pretty lean sort of physique. But the problem is it's kind of like working. If I told you you're going to work for $10 an hour and you want to become a millionaire, you're going to have to work a lot of hours. But if I said, hey, you can have multiple streams of income through residual sources, such as owning houses and property and all this kind of stuff, and they all come in just a little bit all the time, but you don't have to work for it, there's a much greater chance of you becoming a millionaire, right? Well, it's the same thing with muscle mass. When you gain muscle, you naturally start to develop a leaner physique because your metabolism goes up without you having to work for it all the time, right? Whereas when you're running, it's almost like you're running your metabolism off. So your metabolism is elevated for 24 hours after you run, but it's not necessarily staying elevated when you stop that activity, where when you gain muscle mass, there's a longer duration where that metabolism is faster. So can you still have a lean physique and look good by running and lifting weights? Yes, you can, 100% you can. But if you notice that you're starting to just run so much and you're losing a lot of muscle and you're getting skinnier and fatter, then I'd say back off on the running just a little bit and up your weight training and adjust your diet, right? Adjust your diet a bit. Witcher works. Jason, you heard a comment about constant tension. That was very interesting. It was stated that you can stimulate the same pump effect while doing more volume with rest pause. What is your opinion? It's not about pumping. Constant tension is about hitting failure in the fastest possible way without resting. See, if I come up like this and I rest on the joint, guess what? First of all, I'm coming, my chest is activated, and then sometimes the shoulder and the tricep take over the top. So that gives my chest a little bit of a rest. When that rest happens, that is a different type of adaptation. If I get you to run across the street, okay, which works, just listen to this, okay, follow me here. If I get you to run across the street, then take a 2-second rest or a 10-minute rest, it's gonna be much different, isn't it? If you take 10 minutes rest, then you run again, it's going to be a totally different experience, a different experience of intensity. You're going to have lots of time to rest, lots of time to regain your breath, lots of time to regain your energy level. It's not going to cause an adaptation. Now, if you run across the street, it's like say 20 meters or something like that, and then I get you to rest for 3 weeks, and then you do it again, we know that the body's not adapting. You know what I'm saying? So time is the variable here. Time is the factor. So when somebody rests, even if it's an extra second, it will change how intense that is on the muscle. So I would say when you rest like that, basically it's not going to have the same effect. It's not going to be quite as intense on that certain muscle that is stimulated by a certain range. It is not. And that's why you see all the top bodybuilders, the top pros, they keep that tension on the muscle they want to train and they hit failure as fast as possible. Okay. Don't worry, troll alert. I got rid of that idiot. Okay, so Anton Pippin is saying, hi Jason, as you know, I'm recovering from a back injury and I've been using the exercise you mentioned to great effect, but now I've been told I have bursitis in my hip. Any experience in this area? No, I have not had bursitis in my hip, but I can tell you probably what's going on. Most likely what's going on is your back is spasmed up, so it's not really moving. So your hip is trying to move extra to compensate for this, and it's probably causing extra inflammation in that area. You're probably grinding. I mean, I'm not a medical guy, but this is just common sense kind of logic here. If some area is spasmed and not doing its job, then the other area has to become hypermobile to compensate for this area, okay? So because of that, you need to get some back work going. You need to restore function to that back. So some massage therapy or whatever you're doing, keep doing that. Keep helping get blood flow to this area, restore function, and then get massage on the piriformis muscle and the glute medius and glute major. Get some massage on there and get that muscle working properly so that way it's stabilizing the joint. Because if you have a trigger point in there as well, if the muscle spasm in the ass so bad, which happens sometimes from back injuries, it will lock the joint up and cause it to grind and not necessarily move properly. Okay, so that's really what I would recommend. So just take care of that. All right. I feel like I need a Gatorade. Yeah. Building muscle. Hi, sorry, just got in here. What have you missed? Oh, you missed lots. You missed fighting. You missed trolling. You missed lots of stuff. So you'll have to rewind after. But don't worry, I'll stay on here for a bit and answer your questions and stuff. And so yeah, any of you guys, if you guys want to contribute a super chat, I appreciate it. Super chat is basically just it's like a donation to the channel, helps out. You can donate through my website as well at naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, just in the donation section, and that helps out a lot, guys. Okay, so thanks. Saturday nights for fighting, eh? G-Monkey, yeah, that's right, eh? Well, it's Saturday during the day here, so like I said, I'm one step ahead of everybody. I'm a jerk during the day even, not just at night, right? Okay, so French Bastard, did yoga or meditation help you bring your workouts to a better level? I mean, improve mind, muscle connection, physical awareness and such. Yes, it did, right? When I started on the whole meditation path, I'm not necessarily talking about yoga, because yoga, you can overstretch things, and I think yoga might be good for enlightenment and everything, but not necessarily for bodybuilding, because sometimes you can overstretch the wrong part of the muscle or your back or whatever, and then you go to create some instability in that area, and then you go lift heavy weight and you can twang something up, okay? So, but from a meditation point of view, training is meditation. But when I first got into meditation, I didn't see it that way. I didn't really understand, right? But what happened was I had a really, bad injury, the dislocated shoulder. It was like a career-ending injury for me at that time in my life. And I sought out this energetic healer who was a meditation master. And from doing so, I started to grow in awareness. And that awareness naturally starts to help you make different decisions in your life, even with your training. So I make different decisions now. I train differently than I did before. Although the training techniques, there's still a truth that threads through there, but I'm a little bit easier or more compassionate with my body as far as I just don't push through stuff and say, God, my you know, say my shoulder or my back hurts one day or it's just tight, I don't just push through it anyway because I have this insecurity or this need, overwhelming need to push through. I'm like, no, the need is to connect to the body. That's what I do. So in that way, meditation really did help. It got my ego out of this whole training thing. And that's really important. If you're going to make wise decisions, you definitely want to get your ego out of stuff, because then you become very clear and surgical about what you're doing, right? Okay, let me just scroll up here. Don't worry, just blocking the crawl. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to my defense. You guys are like my little champions out there. You know, so John Camp, actually, I'm going to put a video up this. Do I track my calories? And I'll show you a sushi meal I have and everything. It's really exciting stuff, John. So it's nice to see you again, everybody. I actually recognize you guys, just so you know. You guys that comment, I actually recognize. So thanks for all of you guys that are commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it because I get to know you. And so please keep doing so. It's not because I need the comments because of engagement of YouTube. It's more about I get to know who you are. I get to see you and we had real conversations. Because what I'm doing is building this channel up. So at some point, what will happen is we will all meet one day, and then I'll be able to kind of remember, okay, you are this guy, you're that guy, you're the comment, you know, one of you, a couple of you will get one of these, but you know, most of you will get a hug or something. So we'll see. But I'll see those damn comments and I'll remember them, damn it. I'll be like Rain Man. You made a bad comment in 1986, you made a bad comment, right? So yeah, Nimble Navigator, that's right. Yeah. But you know what, the thing is, do I track my calories? Anyway, I'll get back to this. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm making a video on this. I'll make it probably tonight. And it'll be up later on tonight or maybe tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or something. But the bottom line is that I don't track my calories. I never have. What I would do is eat as much protein as possible. Never worry about that. There would be like foods that I knew that I wouldn't gain fat from. And I would eat unlimited amount. I would never track. I would just eat, right? Whenever I have a craving for food, boom, I'd reach out for that. Craving for food, I'd reach out for that. I would never just track calories, okay? Because I didn't want to limit my food, right? Because so many people limit their food and then they end up dieting off their muscle. They're like, oh, I just lowered my calories. They're like, oh, I'm burned out all the time and I'm not getting leaner. I'm just getting smaller. Well, it's because they're lowering their calories too much. They're lowering their calories and their protein, so their body's becoming very catabolic. It's eating its own muscle tissue, and then they're wondering why they're looking skinny fat. So I don't track. What I do is I track portions of foods that can put on body fat, such as carbs and fats. And of course, there's different carbs and fats. There's different types of carbs, different types of fats, and I make adjustments in that, okay? So the bottom line is that I will eat, basically most of my bodybuilding diets, I would say, okay, here's my carb sources: brown rice, yams, potatoes, and I'd add protein every meal, and I'd have that 5 times a day or 6 times, as much as I want. I would eat as much as I want and say, okay, what's going on with my body, right? I've cut my fat down to only the minimum requirement, which is like 30 or 40 grams a day of some essential fats. So that's all I need for fat, okay? I don't need more than that. So now, okay, just one second. I'm going to just deal with the guy here. Block, good. I'm getting famous because the assholes are coming out, so I'm getting famous. So thanks for watching this. But anyway, the bottom line is I would track the carbs. Here's the muscles. So I track the carbs and the fats. And then basically, depending on what was going on with my physique every week, if I was losing a little bit of body fat, getting a little bit leaner, getting more pumped, all this kind of stuff, then I would adjust. So I'd cut one meal out at night, you know, then 2 carb meals out, but I would replace that with protein and as much protein and ingredient as I wanted. So sometimes I was eating probably more calories in some cases, but I was eating less of the actual energy calories. And that was helping me change the composition of my body as I was getting closer to a contest, right? So yeah, did I track calories? Not necessarily. I tracked energy foods. I tracked that. That's what I tracked, really. And I didn't track it through calories. I tracked it through portions, right? David Granger, I'm about 200 pounds right now, around there, and I'm almost 18 inches on my arm, somewhere around there, and I'm 5'8". Robert Brennan, how do you know he's natural exactly? Well, first of all, if you watch my video, why I decided to be a natural bodybuilder, Robert, you'll get an understanding. But I competed in a number of shows. I did urine test, polygraph, and I know there's always somebody who says, some fucking stupid asshole that says, oh yeah, polygraph, everybody could pass that, everybody. But yes, okay, so certain people could pass a polygraph 1 time, maybe 2 times, but not 10 times, because the percentages will get you, okay? So this is the reason why I started natural bodybuilding, and unfortunately, until somebody gets a chance to know who you are and what makes you tick, they can second guess anything you say. So the fact is, you're just going to have to be open a little bit and just gauge me as a human being for a period of time and get to know me, and then you'll start to understand that I'm telling the truth here. My twin brother became a naturopathic doctor for a reason as well. We don't believe in the use of drugs. It just seems like a dependency. And one of the reasons why I chose to be a natural bodybuilder was because I love bodybuilding so much. I wanted to train until I'm 70 or 80. Okay, I wanted to be able to train my whole life. And my dad was a power lifter, and he had told me all these horror stories. And he was a policeman, of course, which also added to it. But he was telling me all these horror stories of what happened to guys he knew that were on drugs. They'd break their humerus, like their arm just snapped in half when they're bench pressing and stuff. And this stuff, I was like, I don't want that crap to happen to me. Also, the other thing is, some people would be like, Don Long, you know, he was a pro bodybuilder back in the 90s. He ended up having a shit in a bag. He ended up having colitis and stuff, you know, and all these different types of side effects were happening where people's health was going to hell. And I would see this and I'm like, that's not what I want, you know, getting bigger muscles to get the girls. And I just imagine having all my poop in a bag at the side, you know, that was just horrifying for me to think about, just for the sake of having, you know, an arm vein or something like that, that I destroyed my health and now I can no longer train, right? So I was thinking long term. So I liked bodybuilding just as much as the steroid guys, but I was thinking long term. I was thinking, okay, how do I continue to enjoy my passion, right? And a lot of these other guys weren't thinking that. They were thinking, oh, how do they get big right now, but not thinking about 10 years down the road. And I was thinking that. I was like, no, I still want to be able to train 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. How do I do that? And we all know health is a delicate thing. Health can go on you any minute, no matter what, just from genetics, right? But the thing is, those drugs and stuff can really kill people, right? Peter, I never took steroids ever in my life, ever. Totally natural. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know where you've been, but Jesus. Yeah, JD, that's the thing. If basically, if you start down that path, then you start this path of dependency. And the funny thing is, there's guys that are on drugs that they don't even learn what works with the body. They don't even know how to actually train in some way because they're depending on something else to produce the result. Right? So I also didn't like that. I didn't want to get into that whole game where I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to grow muscle. So that's why me and sometimes a drug head will get into an argument, because you'd be like, oh yeah, you just lift for sets of 100 reps and no problem, you put on muscle. It's like, no, that's actually not how you stimulate the natural body, how to gain muscle. Gaining muscle naturally is a much different game. So yeah, so I hope that explains a little bit. Do I think that a physique like from Just Saeed is naturally possible? I think it's naturally possible. I don't know if he's natural or not. I'm pretty sure he's probably not, but I'm not going to say for sure. I don't want to slander anybody here, but the fact is he's not really that big. He's just really lean, but there's a certain type of texture to some physiques that you can just tell that they're on something, because I've seen so many physiques over the years, and so many times I knew exactly what they were doing and what the, you know, guys that weren't doing. Like, I've seen natural physiques actually look better than the unnatural, but there's a different texture, you know what I'm saying? There's a different texture to the skin, there's a different texture to what's going on. So, you know, you get an eye for these things after you're in the industry for 30 years like I've been, right? I've been building muscle, I've been training for about 30 years. Yeah. And Richie Rich, you're totally right. People have no idea what's achievable naturally. But I find a lot of people have a real limited opinion. They think that size and muscularity and stuff, but it's not necessarily that. Sometimes I find some of the drug guys aren't as big as some of the natural guys in a lot of cases, right? It's just that if you take two guys that know what they're doing, then when you take an unnatural guy, and you know, he'll be like, for instance, a guy like myself, if a guy was at my level and he wasn't natural, he would be 280 pounds, and I'm only 200 pounds, you see, because I'm the natural bodybuilder. So that's the difference. There's about 60 to 80 pounds in muscle mass, you know what I'm saying? So definitely I had a lot of people come to me with sponsorships and say, Jason, listen, if you decide to go the unnatural route, you'll make it as a pro. But I didn't want to do that. I did not want to go the unnatural route because I knew the risks involved, and I did not want to take that risk. And at the same time, it just seems stupid. Half this path, half the reward of it is the earning of something, you know, knowing how to do it yourself rather than just taking some pill or something. I can't stand that. So anyway, that's me. Genuine top 3 natties are that I know. Okay, I'll just talk about a couple guys that I competed with that I know for a fact are natural. Dominic Darbo, he's a local guy in just amazing physique, and he was natural. There was another guy named Wendell Small. He was natural, unbelievable physique. Both those guys won the BCs overall. I did the BCs overall too. That was an unnatural show, but they went in there natural and won it because they also competed in the natural bodybuilding shows with me repeatedly. And I know for a fact they're natural. I just know 100%. And I'm sure there are other people. Ian Walling was natural, in Toronto, and he had an amazing physique. And yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of other guys, but the thing is, the guys that I know for a fact that I lived around, these are the only guys I can really speak of for sure, right? But any of you guys, you know Kai Green, right? You know Kai Green? He's around, massive right now, like 280 pounds. Well, he used to be natural in the WNBF, and he used to win the Natural Universe every year, and he was 220 on stage at that time. But you can tell the moment he decided to go the unnatural route, that's when he was like second in Olympia, right? Or Arnold Classic and all this kind of stuff. When he decided, he put on muscle mass like crazy, you see. So he took his natural bodybuilding career as far as he could, and then he went the other way, and he was already elite genetically. And then basically, then he became an unnatural guy, and then we know where he is today, right? A super success in that industry. So, yeah. All right, let me just see here. Yeah, French Bastard. I did that too. I competed in an. See, what I was doing is I was competing in natural shows all over the world, but I got sick of traveling all over the world all the time because I'd be spending $4,000 for hotel room, flight, and then food and all this kind of stuff, and entrance fees, all the shit, right? And everything from tanning products, and that's the expenses of competing, right? So I got sick of competing overseas or in New York or in Miami and stuff, and then coming back home and nobody even knowing what I'm doing, right? Nobody even cared, right? Like, oh, well, you're going to another show, good for you, nobody even cared, right? So I said, okay, well, I want to establish some home credibility to maybe get a sponsor or something like that. So I competed in a non-natural show because that was the only show that was going on because they'd already won all the natural shows, so I couldn't go back in there. So I said, okay, I'll go on one of those shows because some guys at the gym were talking behind my back and saying, oh, Jason's not a real bodybuilder. He only won those easy little natural shows. So I went into BC's and I won that because I said, okay, I can win these other shows too, because being a bodybuilder over time, when you know what you're doing, you can beat a lot of the guys that are cheating. You can beat them because you have knowledge and time on your side and muscle maturity. And that muscle maturity can't be underestimated. It really does make a difference, especially on stage when you need to hold on to those gains and actually have the right shape and symmetry, right? That symmetry really does develop differently too. Random dude, any tips for you? You're 16, pretty into working out. You have a few friends that say they want to look like you. Good for you. How do you get into bodybuilding shows? You look on their websites. The WNBF has a website, World Natural Bodybuilding Federation, if you want to get into that. I'm sure you'll have a local state or province type federation. Just look up bodybuilding federations in your state or country or province, wherever it is you are. And you'll probably be able to find some bodybuilding shows, and they'll have like a teen division. Yeah, David Granger. Well, I wouldn't say that you're saying one of the best things about natty competing is that it doesn't cost $10,000 to compete. In a competition. Expense is one thing, but I'd say that the largest expense of competing as an unnatural, these guys are paying with their health. That's what they're doing. They're killing themselves. I'd say that's the most expensive part about it. Who cares about money, right? I mean, health is way more important than money. Okay, Victor Albrand is asking, what is something you have to consider if you want to continue lifting your whole life besides not taking drugs? Well, if you want to consider lifting your whole life, you also have to pay attention to your body, pay attention to the ranges of motion, and not ego lift in a way where you're lifting excessively heavy when it definitely feels like it's not the right time to lift heavy, okay? So if you lift excessively heavy and you are tweaking something or injuring yourself, this is going to be a problem, right? So you don't want to do that. Let me see here. There's somebody that... I just want to address something here. I was stuck in something. Yeah, Witcher Works. Thanks a lot for the $5 super chat, Witcher Works. Thanks a lot. And I know you're not a troll. I recognize you. You're my friend. Okay, you're always commenting. So, like I said, I recognize you guys. The guys that are commenting all the time and stuff. I recognize you and stuff. So I get to know you. So, I think the Nimble Navigator, didn't I call you out a while ago because you made a comment that I didn't like? But you and I are buddies now too. So that's I do recognize. Yeah. Okay. Can a natural bodybuilder look big in clothes while being reasonably lean? I think that's really hard myself. I don't know. What do I look like? I don't know. What do I look like? I'm a natural bodybuilder. So you're asking me a question. So are you insulting me, man? You want to go? So, yeah. Yeah, Robert Brennan, you can't always beat the system. You think you can beat the system, but there's a lot of criminals that think like you that didn't beat the system. So I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but you can't always beat a system. Okay, you can't. I mean, there are certain systems that can be beat for periods of time, but as those systems upgrade, sometimes they get ahead of you. Ben Johnson probably thought he could beat the system, but he got caught in, the Olympics. It's not always like that. Robo Warrior was here, Sean, but he had to actually go because he had to do some Easter stuff. Yes, any sport where Robert Brennan, you're saying a sport where there's absolutely no drug testing and stuff. That's totally different. Yeah, there's a lot of cheaters in there for sure. A lot of people doing stuff there. This is actually a crime. This is the crime that a lot of the comments are actually going to this unnatural part of the sport when it has so little to do with real bodybuilding. Can you see that? Can you see the way people see this? Like I remember walking down the street one time and a lady just goes, she just looks at me. She goes, "Oh, steroids or something." I'm like, "No, I'm a natural bodybuilder. Like I don't believe in that shit." But she had this thought and she was programmed that that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the truth. You can train and gain muscle and feel really good about your body and have a relationship with it. This isn't the ego thing. Like I'm not teaching that ego crap. You know what I mean? Like how to be better than somebody else. That's all shit. It's more about how do you enjoy taking care of the body. It's kind of like just taking care of your car, taking care of your life. It's a totally different level of passion and it has nothing to do with ego, right? Okay, let me just see here. This. So G Monkey, who's the troll? Yeah, Robert Brennan, you're totally right. I mean, the mentality is there. You're not saying that I cheated, but there are people in competition that will find any way to get a competitive edge. Yes, I mean, especially when there's millions of dollars on the line. The funny thing is in natural bodybuilding, there's no money on the line. In the natural bodybuilding shows, you can win 5 or 6 thousand, which basically covers your expenses, and that's if you win the whole show. That covers your expenses of your hotel room. My hotel room in Manhattan cost me 2,000, and so yeah, it would be just a stupid project to undertake to try to win a natural show when there's nothing to win, right? So that's why I wouldn't understand why a guy would want to do that. Yeah. Witcher Works, did you see my second comment, Jason? I didn't see it actually. And Rashab Jain, the biggest fake unnatural show is the Muscle Mania. I would say any show that claims natural that just urine tests is a fake natural show. It's totally fake. If they just urine test, it's not a real natural show. They need to do more than that. I'm not saying because anything is foolproof, but the bottom line is that if there's a couple tests available, I think it's the responsibility of a natural show to be able to undertake that if they can economically do so, right? The Apex Star, do I have a specific goal for mass? I have the goal to put on as much mass as possible. I'm a bodybuilder, right? So I'm not here to become an aerobics champion or just get an ego pump or something. I do want to put on more muscle mass, 100%. But I have to listen to my body and I have to, okay, Samsung, you're just trolling. So I'm just going to get rid of you there, Samsung. So basically, I am trying to put on as much muscle mass as possible. I'm trying to develop my physique and get it to the best it's ever been. That is my goal. Okay, so whatever that is, I don't know, but if I could get to 220 naturally and lean and everything, then that's what I'll do. You know what I'm saying? But my first priority is staying natural, and the second priority is learning how the body works and how can I make this body absolutely, totally the best it can be. That's it. Okay, so Ibrahim Masad is saying, would I ever squat with a bad back? I have. I have squatted with a bad back, and I'm not saying that it's stupid to squat with a bad back, but I would do it conservatively. Okay, so if you're going to squat with a bad back, I would consider doing things lighter and using it like a rehabilitation movement, right? And it depends on how bad your back is. Some people say they have a bad back, but the fact is they don't really have a bad back. They have just a back that's a little bit sore or a little bit tight, so it just depends what you mean by bad back. If you have an extremely badly herniated disc, then I would say squatting with that circumstance, you might be better off actually alleviating the pressure on there for a period of time. Seeing a medical professional in that industry, such as massage therapist, naturopath, these types of things, help deal with the instability that caused the herniated disc in the first place. Allow yourself to do some rehabilitation on there and then move slowly into squatting. But there are other alternatives you can do for legs until your back heals, right? Such as the one-legged squats and all that kind of stuff, right? Alexander the Great, I did a video on overtraining, actually, so I'm surprised and I'm shocked that you have not seen that. Okay? Okay. Okay, so I'm just in the middle of deleting some people here. HN, can you build a good body with light dumbbells, 55 pounders? What do you mean by good body? That's the question, right? Can you build some muscle? Can you build a bit of a physique? Yes, you could, but it depends what you mean. Is it good enough to build, massive amounts of mass on the shoulders and the chest and the back? No, 55 pounders I would say are not enough. Not for a guy. No. The Apex Star. I would accept film roles for bulky guys if offered. Yeah, for 100% I would. Yeah, that'd be fun. I did some movie stuff. If you actually look at the Leslie Nielsen movie Wrongfully Accused, it was a spoof of The Fugitive. I was the Baywatch lifeguard in that. And I was in the movie Sabrina the Teenage Witch with my brother as a waiter at the pool and stuff. So I did some stuff. I did a couple commercials and things in my time. Yeah. So if I was offered a role, stuff like that never happens, especially for a guy with 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. But if Leslie Nielsen, that was Robert Brennan, that was Leslie Nielsen movie. It's called Wrongfully Accused. That was the movie. So, so basically, yeah, I would do that for sure. Yeah, Apex Star. That was me and my brother. Yeah, we were doing that. That was years ago. And Ryan Reynolds was actually in the background of that. He was actually in that show too. That movie. So it's actually on YouTube. You can actually find it. Sabrina the Teenage Witch pilot movie or whatever. And yeah, we're in there at the pool party. You'll find us. Okay. So Luby ZWG, what are you talking about, man? Why are you being a jerk? What's going on here? Yeah, Alexander the Great, what happened to you, man? Why did I lose you? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Like you're supposed to, you just stick around for a couple videos, then you're gone? Hey? Huh? So yeah, watch some of my videos. Help me out, man. Come on. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. Jerry Maguire this thing, right? Robert Brennan, how often do I train my traps? I actually don't really train my traps that often. I train lateral raises, and I do bent over lateral raises. And Alexander the Great, you can still watch even if you stop training, because I actually offer some other types of stuff on here. I'm doing dance videos. I'm trying to do other stuff, I'm trying to kind of entertain you a little bit here. So anyway, back to the traps. The bottom line with the traps, I do bent over rows, and I do shoulder work, like bend over lateral raises, and that helps work the traps. But do I do specific just trap workouts? No. I've been doing Romanian deadlifts, which also works the traps, but I'm not actually doing any specific just trap work. Although, who knows, maybe I will in the future just for fun, right? You know what? There's two ways of doing this bracketal fitness. You can basically keep doing the sets as many as you can. And if you're getting 15, like, is that failure in the first set? Are you just getting 15? Could you get more? If you can get more, you can raise the weight depending on what set it is. Okay, so if I'm asking you to do 15 reps or 20 reps in those sets, but if your reps are coming down a lot, that's okay. Just change the intensity. So say, the first set you're able to easily get 25 reps or something, then obviously you have to raise the weight. But this is okay. It's totally normal for your reps to come down for successive sets. You could stay at the same weight, or you could lower the weight a little bit to maintain that rep range. It's up to you. You could actually manage it both ways. Amarildo Hoda, there is no natural bodybuilding. You're an idiot. Bye-bye. Okay. So, I just don't have any patience today, guys. Sorry. Robert Brennan, you said, wow, that's mad that I don't train traps specifically from shrugs and stuff. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Naram 1220, this is a natural bodybuilding show. I don't use drugs. Thanks. Sorry, I'm just, I'm on here for a couple hours, and this is what happens, right? When you're on here for a period of time, you get more trolls because the live feed goes out and YouTube kind of promotes the channel. So this is a good thing in some ways, but yeah, you get trolled up a bit here. Marvin A. Ertz is saying, any tips to switch up bicep exercises? Well, I like the incline bicep curl, and you'll see me doing it in a lot of my videos. Watch my workout vlogs. They're coming up, and they're always, every week I put up a couple of them. So I find the incline curl is the best for keeping the stress on the brachii, okay? A lot of people, they train the forearm. They train this area, right? They train this area like crazy, and they train this area, but they're not really training this area. And that's really stretching. You got to stretch, but you don't want to stretch so much that you stretch your butt delt. I had a guy doing the incline curl the other day, and he put the incline down to 30 degrees. That's way too much. You're going to overstretch your delt, and you're going to injure yourself. You want to have the incline up like this. So it's just a slight stretch. And you keep your arms slightly bent to the bottom. That really helps. Okay. Hey, Captain Mad, how are you? Okay. ZMA, you know what, Derek P, any thoughts on magnesium zinc supplement? Anytime you're deficient in something, anytime you're deficient in something, it can cause you a problem. Okay? So if you're deficient in zinc, for sure it'll cause you problems, and zinc is good for prostate and all this kind of stuff. So I would say, yeah, there can be a benefit to any vitamin in a way that basically if you're deficient, it will cause a problem. You know, it's just like having not enough air, you know, air becomes a problem. But does more air mean you're going to make more muscle? No. But if you don't have enough, you're going to die, right? So you definitely need to make sure you don't have instabilities or imbalances or insufficiencies in your diet, right? So vitamins can sometimes pick that up. And I will be getting a vitamin pretty soon. I've been taking a multivitamin once in a while, but there's one that I really like the most, and I'll let you guys know when I get it in. But the vitamins are actually pretty good, just to make sure they're not necessarily going to give you muscle, but they're going to make sure that you're not deficient in something. Because if you're deficient in something, it will be a problem. The Apex Star, no, it's not possible to make yourself taller by specific workouts, not permanently anyway. G Monkey, Mike Chang, no, this is Jason Gallant. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah. HN, can you get good results with bad diet but good training first year? Yes, you can. You can get some results. I didn't pay attention to my diet as long as you have enough food, right? But I would recommend eating better because the better you eat, the more results you get for the same amount of effort, right? For the same amount of effort, you'll get more results if you eat better. That's the truth, and that's what came to me years later. But at first, you know, I didn't know this, right? So I basically was eating like shit and then putting on some muscle, but I probably would have put on a lot more if I wasn't eating a bag of Doritos a day and you know that kind of thing, right? Robert Brennan, do I prefer dumbbell press or bench press? I prefer dumbbell press for chest activation at this point, but I love the barbell bench press. It's just kind of, it's like home for me. I just love it, yeah. Big Daddy Barbecue, have I tried enzymes to improve protein absorption for more gains? Here and there I have, but I haven't lately, but it's definitely something to think about. I don't think that that's a bad way to think. And sometimes that's why people say, you know, increase your greens and vegetables in your diet, and sometimes I don't get enough of that too. That does help with your enzymes and helps you digest the proteins for sure. I think so. I think it will help. Nutritional supplement that I recommend. Are you talking about a vitamin? I will be recommending one soon when I get the link for it, and it's just a few weeks from now. So I want to basically take the vitamin again. I like this one group of vitamins. It is with a specific company, their network marketing company. I'm not planning on being a network marketing guy, or it's not like that. But years ago, I did take this vitamin that I really, really liked. I felt good with it. It helped increase my blood flow, and I found that when I was playing hockey, everything seemed to be running better. My cardio was better. So I'm going to probably start taking that vitamin again just to make sure I'm not deficient, because I think because my diet's so bodybuilding-ish, I'm eating protein and everything all the time, that I may be missing a few minerals and a few vitamins from time to time. So I want to make sure that I got that base covered. Bracro Fitness saw your response to Blahino. It was one of the classiest responses I've seen. Yeah, I can't remember what I did because I kind of flipped out on a few people here today. So I think I went I went to class and I went to non-class and I kind of went back and forth. But hey, this is YouTube, this is video, so having fun with it. Yeah, so forgive me, guys, if I don't come off as a very likable guy. The truth is, I probably am not that likable, but thanks for tuning in anyway. So. I haven't. I'm not going to say the name, Seth. I'm not going to say the name until I'm taking it, because I don't want to promote anything until I've tried it again. And then once I'm actually taking the vitamin for a few weeks and I'm confident that I like it, then I'll recommend it. As you notice on this channel, I don't recommend a lot of vitamins. Okay, I don't recommend a lot of supplements because I'm very. I don't want to dishonor what you guys are doing, because you guys are trusting me a bit here, and I don't want to send you somewhere where I believe that you might. Be getting a raw deal. And I don't think this vitamin company, there's any chance of that. But just in case, I just like to make sure that I take this supplement myself. I don't want to recommend anything to you that I do not take myself. Okay? That's the first and foremost. You'll see a lot of the guys on YouTube and stuff. Some of them, they'll just recommend anything. Some, like I had, for instance, BHP company come to me and say, Jason, will you recommend our supplements? We'll send you some stuff. You can do a product review, right? They asked me. But I said, hey, you guys are using sucralose in your product. I'm not interested. That's the thing. I don't use products with sucralose in them. So even though the product might be very good, it might be very good actually, but because I don't use sucralose, I'm not going to recommend the product for other people, right? So that's the thing. So anything I recommend here, I'm not going to send you anywhere unless I use it myself and unless I'm confident to the best of my ability that it's good, okay? So I'm not saying I can never be wrong, but I'm going to find out as much as I can first, and then I will promote it if it is something like that, okay? So Just bear with me there. Yeah. Okay. One more. Okay. I'm gonna. Don't worry. I'm going strong here. I might have to leave the room to get some more protein, guys. Just so you know. So I'm not going to abandon you yet here because I know you guys have a lot of questions and stuff. So 1 second here. I'm just gonna scroll up here. There's some people. Okay. So cryptic gamers, are you still online there, buddy? You said whenever you do push-ups, your left elbow clicks. What does that mean? It means you're. See, a lot of people don't realize the elbow joint can actually get dislocated slightly, or it can be out of place. This can happen. Okay, so sometimes if the elbow joint's slightly out of place, it will click. It'll fall off the groove a little bit. The other thing that can happen is if you have trigger points in here, like muscle knots in here, right, in the forearm, or in the tricep here, right, or here, you know, the tricep, like you have trigger points. The muscles are knotted up. They can pull your elbow a little bit off track. And when that happens, it can cause a bit of a clicking. So getting some massage can sometimes help, right? Sometimes the clicking can be caused also from an injury that you had previously, maybe a broken elbow like I did. You know, my elbow hyperextends because I broke it. The other thing that can happen is you just have an inflammation going on because you're doing something improper in the gym. Maybe you're doing skull crushers too aggressively, putting too much pressure in the elbow. Maybe you're getting some inflammation that's causing some clicking too. So it could be any number of those things. Apex Star, do I recommend lower kilogram and more reps or higher weights with less? I recommend both. You need both to gain muscle, but how much of both? That's the thing. You have to find that proper percentage. For me, it's about 25% super heavy and about 75% medium rep ranges, such as 15 to 25, you know, or 12 to 25, right? Yeah, Brennan, that can happen. You know, Robert, Brennan, I'd really recommend that you go get some massage therapy on your tricep and your rotator cuff muscle behind, because, like you said, if this is trigger pointed up, it'll actually radiate pain down here and cause spasms sometimes in the tricep, and they cause elbow problems. So get that checked out by a massage therapist. I think it would really do you good to do that, and I think it'll really help. Captain Mad, you're saying, Jason, you'll be under shoulder physio for 2 weeks. We'll have to rest the upper body. Is there anything that you can do to maintain most of your strength and mass? The thing is, sometimes the best thing you can do to maintain strength and mass is just eat. Eat the protein. Eat your diet as if you're still training, right? As far as eat enough protein, right? Maybe you need to go down on your energy foods. You don't need to eat as much carbs and fats, but you do need to eat the protein, okay? So do that. Second of all, don't worry about losing mass so much because sometimes the rest is what you need, and the mass comes back so quickly. It's like you lose a little bit, and then within 3 days, everything's back to normal again once you're back in the gym. So don't worry so much about it. Just use this time to take a break. Sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do. Sometimes you need to take a step back before you take a leap forward, okay? So this is a very okay thing. I've never seen anybody lose all their gains from taking 2 weeks off and never being able to get them back really quickly. And sometimes it's almost like an elastic band. You take a break and it's almost like stretch and then boom, and then you just fling, and then all of a sudden your body's recovery is just 10 times better. And sometimes you'll catapult yourself past a plateau. So sometimes this rest can be a good thing. I've seen some guys do this. I used to know, I used to know guys that would take 6 months off a year, but when they come back to the gym, it was like, what the hell? And they were natural bodybuilders. These guys I grew up with my whole life. Like I knew they're natural. I saw their physique develop all the way through high school. I knew 100% they're natural. And this guy, especially this one guy I can remember very clearly, he would put on like 10, 15 pounds within a period of 2 weeks. And it would just, everything would come back. It was like he would fill out right away. It's like his body muscle memory would just activate right away. So don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself out. Don't worry about it, okay? Yeah. Okay, I'm just blocking somebody here. No problem. Yeah, super male Vitali. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lenny's stomach there. I'm not going to answer. Okay, let me just go here. Dwight's asking, Jason, is full body stretching important or beneficial to bodybuilding? Perhaps every time before going to sleep. I asked already, but in case you missed it, okay. Yeah, sorry about that, Dwight. Yeah, if you guys do, like I said, if you guys do the super chat, make a donation, then the super chat makes your question visible for me for the whole time, so I don't have to scroll through everybody. So if you want me to answer your question right away, then that's kind of the price you pay, literally the price you pay. But anyway, full body stretching, I think stretching is good as long as it's not too aggressive. I think if people are too aggressively stretching, like you're yanking on the joints and trying to, you're not using stretching to increase blood flow, but you're using stretching to constantly try to increase range of motion. It can be, if it's too aggressive, you can pull things and cause certain problems. But if you're doing it to just limber up and to get the blood flowing again, open up those areas, I think there can be a massive amount of benefit from that, for sure. Yeah, thanks, Robert. Thanks for subbing there, big guy. Yeah. Okay, random dude. How much protein do I recommend per pound of body weight? I recommend about a gram per pound of body weight, but I've noticed lately, just so you know, and people sometimes, it's usually a gram per pound of lean mass, but I noticed lately that a gram per pound of actual body weight seems to be what I need. About 200 grams a day is ideal. Anywhere from 175 to 200, somewhere in there seems to be the best. And I'm a 200-pound guy. That's what my body seems to be responding better to that. I seem to be putting on more muscle and recovering better, right? Okay, let me just go here. David Granger, what is my main tip for staying determined? Not with training, but other goals. The key to determination is passion. And if you're doing something you don't really want to do, if you're doing it because other people want you to do it, or if you're doing it to please other people, the passion will always wane. It will always fall off. You know, it's always going to be like that. So a lot of people, the most motivated people in the world, from a dysfunctional point of view, a lot of them have a passion, but it's not really passion, it's fear. And that is a really powerful driver. It's kind of like Darth Vader, right? Let's talk about Star Wars for a bit. And when you are passionate from a fear point of view, you know, you can drive yourself through a wall, you can do amazing things, but your life will be miserable and it'll be horrible, okay? So what I did in my life and what I really fully advocate in other people is when you find what you truly enjoy, what you will do when no one else is watching, right? What you will do. Like, I like making videos even if no one watches them. I like getting colors and making music. I like that, you know? And I like training even if no one's watching. I still do that. So that's why it's a sustainable thing for me. But there are a lot of people that do things because they're playing to an audience. They're saying, I'm doing this because that's how this person will accept me. I'm doing this because this person thinks I should be this or do this. And that's why their passion always falls aside. So if you have a lack of passion in your life, ask yourself, what are you doing for other people? Like, why are you doing what you do? And is it because you really enjoy it, or is it because you think that other people need you to do it or are forcing you to do it, or you're doing it to please them instead of yourself? And the thing is that when you are passionate and happy about what it is you're doing, you will be happy about that, and then everything you're doing in that will actually help other people. It'll uplift them some way. You know what I'm saying? I find a lot of people will do stuff and they please other people, but then they become miserable, right? So short term, it seems to be really a good thing. It seems to be, oh, I'm doing service for other people. These people are so happy. But then at some point, they start to get resentful, and then their passion wanes, and like, no, I really gotta, do what really makes me happy. So I'd say do what makes you happy. Find out what that is. Let go of living your life based on a democracy. Live your life based on what you truly want, and find out what that is. And clean up your suffering as much as you can through meditation or whatever. And then from there, you will start to have more passion. G Monkey, you say BS. What are you talking about there, buddy? No problem there, David. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking. That was a good question. Thanks. It's nice to get some not shallow questions. Sometimes it's good. Dwight, how do some people snap muscles just out of nothing? Do they just not feel when something is going to pull out? Yeah, some tears, when you have too much velocity combined with stress, you will not even have a chance to make a decision, okay? So if I just wing my arm back with lots of weight and stuff, there's not really enough time for me to get the message of pain before the tear happens, okay? So that's why whenever you're doing heavier weights, you want to come down a little slower with the heavier weight and just make sure that and you give your body a chance to tell you some signs so that you can just drop the weight or just stop the set or whatever if you need to. But you get these guys that are lifting super heavy, and some of them, of course, when they're not natural, it makes it even worse because they're they're kind of numb a little bit to their muscles, okay? Because some of those drugs they're doing and stuff have an anti-inflammatory response, so it almost works like a numbing agent, so they don't actually feel what's going on in the body, and sometimes by the time they do, it's too late, right? Uh, Captain Mad, what's my thought on oatmeal and carbs at night? Depends on your metabolism, and it depends what your goal is. I don't think carbs can be a bad thing. I know some people that say you go to bed without carbs in your system, just protein, and that helps with the growth hormone production, and everything like that. But again, I'm open to all paths. I mean, I don't have a philosophy on this, but if I'm trying to lose body fat, then I will definitely not have carbs before I go to bed, or not a lot of them anyway. I'll have a lower amount and a higher percentage of protein and stuff, right? So. Dwight, sometimes it does have to do with the muscles getting stronger faster in the joints. I talked about earlier in this video where if your strength just naturally goes up like this, that's not really the natural way strength goes up. Usually strength will go up like this, and then your body will plateau for a period of time in order for your body to create a homeostasis or a balance and have the denser tissues catch up to what has happened with this new homeostasis in the body, this new environment, okay, of extra strength and muscle mass. But if somebody goes up too extreme too fast, then yeah, sometimes this can cause problems and imbalances, right? Maheshan Govender, do you think it's a good idea to bulk with Coca-Cola in your diet? Although I like Coca-Cola, and I think definitely a cheat though. It's just fructose, corn syrup, and carbonation. I don't think it helps your digestion either. So I think if anything, it is not really a good idea from a bulking point of view if you're trying to, if bodybuilding is your main goal. But if you just do it because you like drinking Coca-Cola, then go ahead, right? Leon Cahill, thoughts on cheat meals? I think they're necessary. I think especially if you're not really on a total strict regime, say you're saying I want to just put on muscle mass and stuff, it's good to make sure that you're having something different, just to not only just to emotionally and mentally reset yourself for your training, but also to sometimes get in those mystery elements and foods that you just don't get from the stable diet of always eating the same things. So sometimes it's just good for variation point of view. The other thing is that you do want to vary up your calories from time to time, right? You want to vary up your calories, because if you vary up your calories, you're tricking your metabolism. And what I mean by this is that if you're on a diet for 8 weeks straight, but you're never increasing the calories, there's a tendency for the metabolism to shut down and to slow down because of this. And if it slows down, then of course this is going to hurt your fat loss gains, right? So you want to have days or a day or two a week for sure where you increase those calories and just eat whatever in sight, to a point. And then from there, when you eat a little healthier, then your body will have a faster metabolism and have an easier time burning off that muscle mass. Okay. Perk Bojan is, do we get all stimulation from biceps and triceps from main lifts, bench press, military press, rows, pull-ups, or what must we train them? Yes, you must train them separately in most cases. If you want to have bodybuilder type biceps, okay? If you just want your biceps or triceps just to develop kind of whatever way they do, then yeah, just do the main lifts. But there's a reason why powerlifters look like powerlifters, right? If you want to answer to your question, just look at a powerlifter physique, because that's what they do. They do the power lifts, they do the rows, and they do the deadlifts, and they do this, and they get some good backs and sometimes some good chests. But not always do the triceps and biceps develop. Okay, you'll notice that. And that's because they're not necessarily doing that much assistant work in that way, right? So that would be a really sure way for you to really find out an answer to your question. Okay. See you, Imagine Snake. See you. Have a good night. Yeah, any of you guys that can go thumbs up this video too, that helps too. If you guys just want to help my channel out a little bit, just to kind of increase the engagement here, to get this channel out there, If you don't want to help me, that's okay too. I understand. Okay, Mislav Brovic. Do you believe in the golden hour after training? That is about taking protein or evenly consumption through the day? Because I think that is commercial bullshit. Yeah, you're gonna have to conduct your own experiment on that. But what I think doesn't really matter, right? That's the truth. What you think, what I think, who cares about what we think, right? But what works? And I'll tell you right now, when I eat regularly throughout the day, I notice that when I go to the gym, I feel more full, more pumped, and I have better energy levels. That's it. That's all I need. That's what sells me on it. But somebody else, maybe their metabolism runs differently, right? I also know that when you're leaner, okay, the leaner you get, the more important it will be to have food constantly available to you, right? Because when you get down to 4% body fat, I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you have 4% body fat, you really are aware of how much your fat stores are giving your body a little bit of that buffer of calories when there's a little bit of fat being burned from those stores, okay, and entering your system. So it helps buffer you and maintain you when you're not eating for a period of time. But when you don't have those fat stores there, then you definitely need to eat more often, okay? So at that point, you need to be constantly hooked up to the food to make sure that the muscle's being fed, because you don't have this storage facility of calories known as the fat stores. So a lot of times there'll be guys that are, a little bit higher body fat percentage, and they'll be like, oh, you don't need to eat that often. Well, that's because they're already eating off of their fat stores. That's why, that's why they don't feel like they're hitting a wall or not, right? But the leaner you get, the more dependent you will be on eating your calories regularly. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of a few people here. All right, 1 second. Just bear with me here. Okay, so James Cowan, he takes a multivitamin as well as vitamin C and calcium, magnesium, zinc supplement. Is this enough? I'm 51 years old, eat pretty healthy, thanks. James Cowan, I'm not a naturopathic doctor by any means. My brother is, so I can't really speak from a position of any sort of medical or naturopathic advice here. But I think vitamin C is really great. That's one of the real important to take. Calcium, magnesium is good. Zinc is good because you want to take care of the prostate and all this, and zinc is a pretty powerful immune system helper there. I think coenzyme Q10 though, taking a separate dose of coenzyme Q10 or grapeseed extract could be really great as well. So I would consider that if I were you, because those real powerful antioxidants in a multivitamin, there might be a little bit in there, but because it's one pill, you don't get that much. So I think coenzyme Q10 and grapeseed extract would be really great for you to take as a separate supplement as well. Okay, Peter North. You do 25 reps of 125 every day with your legs. Is that too much? No, definitely not. 25 reps of 125, that's pretty much, depending what you mean by 125 and what exercise. Yeah, that would be probably too little, actually, if you're only doing one set of that. Hey, mate, feed kill repetet or repet. Some of your guys, your profile names are just hilarious. I don't know. 10 Jonta Swede, how much do I sleep? What's your tips? I already mentioned this before. I answered this. I sleep about 9 hours a night, and then I take a nap every day of about an hour to 2 hours. That's usually what I do. Captain Matt, do you think there's a specific reason for why you're gaining strength in deadlifts and not bench or squat? Because there are different muscles involved in the deadlift, right? The deadlift's mostly about hips and lower back, right? And lower back under a certain range of motion. So I know guys that can deadlift, but they have the most horrible physique for bodybuilding, right? Because deadlifts don't really hit. Your weak link is mostly the lower back. It's mostly the lower back and the sides of the hips and a little bit of the hamstring as well. But a lot of the lower back in most cases, for a lot of people, becomes the absolute weak link. So it's basically a glorified lower back strain exercise in a lot of ways, okay? Now, is it a good exercise for overall? Yes, it is. It does help the whole system. It does activate the traps and the backs and stuff to a point, but it is different. They're different muscles. Sorry, I just moved the tripod there. So the thing is, what you have to bear in mind is that there are times when your system will adapt in certain ways better than others. So for instance, I know times where my squat went up, but then my bench press would go down or stay kind of stable, because it's almost like your body will stabilize in one area and then grow in another area. And I've experienced this a number of times. Sometimes one area grows, but not the whole body at once. It's almost like there's certain places that start to grow in different ways, right? So lower back grows a bit, and then the upper back can start to grow and that kind of thing. So sometimes there's that little game that's going on in the body. So don't worry about it. If you're not growing everywhere all at once, don't worry about it. Right? Okay. Leon Cahill, what are my thoughts on natural test boosters? I don't think they're necessary. I think if you have all your vitamins in your diet, I think a multivitamin or something that should be fine. As long as you're not deficient, I think you're good. I don't think you need natural test boosters. Random dude, any tips for thinking up the bicep and the tricep? Just train them. Train them. I have a lot of tips on my vlogs talking about stretching, talking about uh, the range of motion principle, as far as finding the strategic range of motion principle. Watch that video, strategic range of motion, and that stuff really helps thicken and put on more muscle on these areas. Okay, your range of motion and finding out what the proper range is for that place, and at the same time getting the stretch in that belly. Okay, that's what's going to help. And if these two things aren't realized, you will always be just training the joints or training a multitude of muscles, but not necessarily putting all that stress on the muscle you want to grow. Peyton Cole, what's my thoughts on intermittent fasting? I don't do that myself. So, Mr. Leo, am I Canadian? Yes, I am. French bastard, too much deadlift can give you a bigger waist through core activation as well. Yeah, some people say that, but I've never experienced it. And the funny thing is, French bastard, is that I was told all the time the heavy squats, don't do heavy squats, increase your waist size and everything, but they never increased my waist size. If anything, I just kind of tightened up. So, yeah, sometimes I think there's a lot of these urban myths going around based on some of the non-natural guys and the things that are happening with their system. DSL Dude 1152. Can you build a decent V-taper back with just rows, pull-ups, no deadlifts? Yeah, of course. Deadlifts will not make you a better bodybuilder, just so you know. Deadlifts possibly can make you a better bodybuilder, but they are not the primary thing that will make you a better bodybuilder. That's all I'm saying. I mean, they're better powerlifter, yes. Maybe there's a lot of other positives to deadlift. But honestly, if you want a V-taper and you want just a bigger upper back, then yeah, doing pull downs, pull ups, and bent over rows, you're going to get way more out of that, right? You're going to get way more out of that for bodybuilder development. I spent most of my bodybuilding career with no deadlifts. The only deadlift I did was the Romanian deadlift, but it wasn't really heavy or anything. It was just to stretch the hamstrings out, and I developed an awesome back from that. So I'm 100% speaking to you from a place of experience here. You don't need to deadlift in order to build a back. A lot of the deadlift obsession right now is just guys are just like obsessed with trying to lift a certain weight from the floor because it's just a big ego lift in a lot of ways. Okay, so now if you want to continue deadlifts, go ahead. And I'm not saying they're bad. I think they're good in a lot of other ways, but they're definitely not necessary in order for you to build a back. Okay, Leon Cahill. As a natural bodybuilder, how many sets reps do you find most beneficial to put on much size as possible without overtraining? Go to my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, download one of my programs. The 2-day split will have sets and reps, 2-day split A, B, and C programs. I will have whole body workouts as well, and I will eventually have a 3-day split. So I adjust the sets and reps based on the frequency. So you can actually just go on there and just find it right there. It's right there for you. You can just download it, purchase one of those programs. I made them really cheap, so it's affordable for you guys. And at the same time, you're going to have a real good idea of the structure of how I do this, the sets and reps, okay? Brecky Atlason, I noticed you. Attaboy, how are you? Okay, guys, I'm getting hungry here, so I'm going to have to get a protein shake real quick here and then come right back, okay? So if anybody asks where I went, then you just tell them, okay? Skinner, what's the difference between chins and pull-ups? There is a different activation in chins and pull-ups because your body is being balanced underneath the bar when you're pulling up, okay? But when you're doing a pull down on a lat pull down, that's not happening. Your body's not balancing, you know what I'm saying? You're not bouncing the feet and the body's not moving like this. So I find that the subscapularis gets moved or worked a lot more on the pull-up. That's for sure. It does get worked a lot more, and a lot more stability has to get worked. So this is also part of it, okay? Yeah, Panda Bear, I love Romanian deadlifts. They're awesome. 10 Janta Swede is asking, do I eat candy or anything unhealthy? Yeah, I do from time to time. Lately, I've been really concentrating on my diet, though. So I notice when I eat crappy food, then it kind of throws my training off for the next day. I can see, when I'm doing those, shots at the end of my video that I don't look quite as good and everything on, I'm trying to prove that I practice what I preach here and I'm trying to prove to you what works. And when I'm making the videos, I have to be conscious of what I look like because the videos just aren't really that attractive to people online if they see a guy that's just kind of frumpy. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm at 20% body fat, it's harder to market the videos. So yeah, I'm basically held a little bit more accountable to what I'm eating. But do I like a good bag of Doritos or a pizza? Yes, I do. Yeah. Lucy G. He patched me. I don't know what patching means, but okay. Leo Harris. What do I think of steroids? I think they're stupid. That's what I think. And anonymous, what do I think about the vegan diet? I talked about it earlier. I don't think it's applicable to everybody, but if they find it works for them, then go ahead. But for me, it wouldn't work. Okay, so Caitlin says, as a natural, you did 3 shows in 6 months, and after your latest contest, you did some blood work. Your liver enzymes are high, your T3 and T4 are low, but your testosterone is high. How do you recover? Well, I'm not a doctor or anything. My brother would be a better guy to talk to about this, but if your thyroid and stuff is a little bit off, then that sometimes probably can happen from dieting so low and having to lower calories so much. So I can see how that would affect your metabolism, right? So I could see how maybe your metabolism's a little off. The other thing is though, if your liver is a little high, then I would say maybe there's some things that you're eating, maybe there's some preservatives in some of the supplements you're taking. Maybe your fat, maybe the fats you're taking in, you might be taking in some more toxic foods. I'd say switch to organic or something and see if that makes a difference. Yeah, get your digestion checked. See if your digestion is working as well. I think that might be a good idea, right? Seth Surgeoner, how much can I bench? I used to bench around 425, but then I dislocated my shoulder in hockey, so now it's a lot lower than that. But I can do 275 for anywhere for 10 to 16 reps or something. Sevdam Vatan, thanks for liking the video. Yeah, good night from Turkey. Thanks for joining me again. Okay, I'm just reading here. Caitlin, you take omega-3 all year. Thank you, you're amazing. Yeah, thanks, Caitlin. So you take omega-3s, but make sure with those omega-3s, this might be also causing a problem. And this is just a theory. I don't know for sure, so something to think about. If you're omega-3s, I hope you're not frying them. I'm pretty sure you probably are aware enough as a natural bodybuilder not to fry omega-3 fats because it makes them into a bad rancid fat, which will cause your liver to have to work because then it becomes a bit of a toxin. Yeah, so make sure you're also, when you're storing those omega-3s, store them in a refrigerator. Do not store them in a cupboard or something because they will go rancid and they will become toxic to you, okay? So that is another thing that might help you out. Nettie James, how to lose fat and keep muscle. I did a video on that actually by that same title. Just go down to the magnifying glass, how to lose fat and gain muscle, and just look that up. And I did a whole video on that. You could take a look at it. It all has to do with the diet. Thanks, Witcherworks. Yeah, for the $5 again. I know you're not around, but just in case you're still tuning in. Skinner, why do some bodybuilders look like shit now and some muscle mass to be expected? Okay, Skinner, I'm going to answer this question very honestly here. Why do some bodybuilders look like shit as they get older? The thing is, a lot of people think that your priorities stay the same your whole life. Like, for instance, like when I was playing hockey, I was not worried about whether I had ab veins or not, or whether my biceps were massive or not, because I was enjoying playing hockey. So first of all, that was a different sport, right? And I know you're not insulting me, but I'm just trying to tell you that priorities sometimes change. So this is what I'm talking about here. My priorities changed for a period of time, so then my physique followed those priorities, right? And of course, I got a couple injuries and everything from it. Here's a bicep pose. Okay, good. People are asking for bicep poses, so I'm doing that. Man, am I cool? Whoa. Sorry, man, this is just so stupid. I never thought I'd make a channel like this. So anyway, the bottom line is when the older guys are training, yes, there are some changes that happen in the body. Sometimes car accidents, sometimes injuries, and hormone levels, and just aging happens. I mean, nobody's going to be like Mr. Olympia when they're 95, right? I mean, I'd aspire to be that, but a lot of people are not going to be like, same muscle mass, everything, because the body, starts to get ready for the death process. That's just aging. It just happens. And but the other thing that happens a lot too is priority changes. When you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, you might have certain priorities and say, oh, this is really important to me. But sometimes you're like, oh, geez, spending that extra 2 hours a day or an hour and a half in the gym and making sure I'm eating perfect all the time, maybe there's other ways to live my life, right? Sometimes you're just exploring other ways and you're not necessarily saying, oh, geez, muscle's the most important, because there's a certain amount of work every day that you got to put into gaining muscle. Like if I just train for fitness or if I train to gain muscle, that's a different level of priority, right? Like right now I'm training an hour and a half a day or hour and 40 minutes sometimes, and the minimum workout's an hour and 15 minutes, but then I'm also making sure I'm eating and I'm cooking and I'm eating a certain way, which takes a little bit more time rather than me just grabbing whatever, right? And this priority takes up time. So if my priority shifts, then my physique is going to shift. So some people just get sick of putting in the work. And after a person's been a professional athlete, they get burned out. They're dieting hard. Like everything on their mind is always about the physique, always about performing. And at some point they're like, okay, I've had enough of this. Now it's time for me to relax and enjoy my life. And that's why you see their physiques change. It's not because they are deficient or something's wrong with them. A lot of times they've chosen now to pursue a different career or do something different, right? Okay, I'm just going to ban somebody here. Another troll here. Okay. Okay, so Anonymous says, which bodybuilders do I like? It's funny, I get a lot of shit for this. It's funny, because I liked Lou Ferrigno, because I actually met Lou Ferrigno in person in the gym. But then every time I say I like Lou Ferrigno, people say to me, oh, well, that guy's a bastard because he asked for money for photos at a fitness convention or the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic or something like that. And I'm like, well, the guy's got to make a living. I mean, he is one of the grandfathers of bodybuilding in a way, you know, as far as the Arnold Schwarzenegger generation and everything. And he's there to make a living. So why is he such a jerk because he's asking for $10 or $20 for a photo when other people are doing the same thing? Like, why is he a less, you know, sufficient person? It's just that some of the other guys have found more genius ways to charge you money, right? Like Arnold is still charging to go to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, you know what I'm saying? And he's still making money from the sponsorships, but you know, how's he making this money from the sponsorships? It's not like you guys are getting into the bodybuilding show for free, right? And it's not like the pay-per-view is free either. So it just depends. But the thing is, Lou Ferrigno's a really nice guy. I have to say, like, I was in there, he had no reason to walk up to me. I was insufficient. I was a small little dude compared to everybody else in that gym. And I was just doing my little photo shoot in the corner like a nobody. He didn't even know who I was. And he went out of his way to say, hey, you look good. How are you? Do you know what's going on? Like, he was actually a really nice, genuine guy. So I said he's a good guy. But Arnold Schwarzenegger I met, and he wasn't very nice. He was busy, probably had other things on his mind. I totally get that. But he wasn't, you know, a real positive experience for me. So I would say my favorite guy as a person that I met, one of them was Lou Ferrigno. Jean-Pierre Fuchs was also an extremely nice guy. He was funny and he was extremely nice. Just so you know, I actually trained with him one day in the gym, and really good guy. So it was about a month before his career-ending injury, actually, that I trained with him, because I met him through a mutual friend. I said, oh, let's train or whatever. And he's like, really nice, just humble guy. He was a pro athlete at the time, I think it was top 5 or top 7 in the Olympia, and super nice dude, right? Okay, Daniel Jessic, I don't know what you're saying here, or what's going on here. Daniel Jessic, what's going on with you, buddy? Are you trolling or what's going on here? Are you making a comment about somebody else? Because this is a natural bodybuilding channel, so. Okay, just for a second here. So Daniel, what are you saying? Your smiley face now, what are you saying? Talk to me here, Daniel. Come on, let's have a relationship here. What the fuck is going on here? Come on. I'm a natural bodybuilder. I've competed in natural bodybuilding my whole life. I take immense pride in that. So I don't know if you're just trying to insult me here, or if you're just trying to get attention. You're nothing, so you're saying nothing now? I mean, I'm all about being friends with you here. I'm not actually trying to just call you out just to have a conflict here, but I just want you to know that you're talking to a real guy here. It's not just some random thing where you just, you know, shit on me, right? So I'm all about being friends with everybody that comes on this channel, and there have been times that some people have actually trolled me, but they turned out to be some pretty nice guys, right? So, okay, Daniel Jessica, I think you typoed there. Can you show you? I don't know what you mean. So, all right, okay, guys. You know, the reason why sometimes I address some trolls is because some of the trolls are real people. Okay, these people, everybody's a real person. And sometimes this bitterness or this negativity is coming out just because they are misunderstanding who I am. They don't understand who I am. And if I can clear up that communication a little bit, then sometimes we can actually, you know, have some real connection here. So, you know, I'm really, that's why I made this channel, so I can create a community and actually start to connect to more people. And sometimes this negativity is just a cry for help, or sometimes just, you know, hey, let's have a relationship, but they misunderstand. They think that I'm some other person that they had seen that had lied to them or did something stupid, right? But I'm not that guy, but sometimes I need a chance to be able to have the conversation. And in these live chats, sometimes that's the only time I can actually have the conversation, because when people are just trolling randomly on YouTube with a video that I made 4 months ago or something like that, it's hard for me to actually have a real conversation. So, but anyway, yeah, so, okay, I'm going to go back up here and answer a question. I'm getting extremely hungry, guys, so I'm going to leave for 1 second here. And I will answer some more of your questions. So don't take off. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab a bite of chicken breast and some whey protein. Okay. Does my brother still train DSL, dude? Yes, he does. He trains. He just doesn't diet or not, but he's strong as hell. The guy doesn't have the same injuries I have. He didn't dislocate a shoulder in hockey, and yeah, he's strong. He's strong like a bull. about as smart as one too. No, I'm just kidding. And just in case he watches this, maybe he'll see this. Okay, so okay. Okay, so Zulzu, in 3 words, what is natural for you? Natural is no drugs. That's what natural is. Okay, so if you're trolling, do you want me to ban you, man, or are you trying to actually have a real conversation? I'll give you a chance. You can have a real conversation with me, or else you're going to be gone. Okay, so all right. Anyway, I got to get something to eat. 1 second. I'll be right back, guys. All right. Sorry about that. Like I'm only doing a 2.5 hour marathon, so I had to get some more protein and have a bite of chicken breast here and then use the washroom. So, okay, now I'm back. Yeah, I advocate eating, and of course, by doing this long sort of stream, I won't be able to eat sometimes. So, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of some trolls here. It's all just love. All just love. Leo Harris, what do I think when I see unhealthy people? I don't think anything really. I don't care if somebody's unhealthy or not. I mean, if they're happy, whatever. But I do have a problem with some people's habits affecting people around them and them not caring. Like when people smoke and they don't give a shit about how that secondhand smoke is bugging other people, or when they're using heroin and they're throwing their needles in the park where kids can step on them. I have kind of problems with that. That's what I have. But yeah, not everybody has to be a bodybuilder or a fitness enthusiast. I have no problem with that. Macho Cabrio, I'll see you later, you idiot. Done with you. Anonymous, what do I think of CT Fletcher? I like that guy. BCA is not a drug, they're Supramecai, so I don't know what you're talking about here. Here's the bicep. Yeah, there you go. So what do I think of CT Fletcher? I like him. He claims that he's natural now. He may be, and I did a video on that. I really like the guy. I think he does know a lot about training regardless of whether he's natural or not. And he's got a heart to him. That guy has a heart. He's got a heart, you know, and he's talked about how he messed around with stuff before, and I believe everything he's saying. I really do like that guy. There's something special about CT Fletcher, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. That guy is a nice man. He might be swearing and stuff, but there's a heart in everything he's doing, and I admire that. So, what do I think about CT Fletcher? I like him. honestly, if I can meet a guy, I think CD Fletcher and I would sit down and have a really good conversation. I get that guy. There's something about him that's really good. So I like him. Okay, guys. So just so you know, anybody that's trolling, if you're going to be an asshole to anybody on here, I'm going to ban you. So yeah, I'm basically offering some free advice here and some free help for you guys. I'm giving you some free help. But if you're going to use the help or this video that I'm doing right now to piss on other people or to treat them like shit, you're going to be gone. Okay, so start being nice or I'll see you later. Okay? I don't know why some of you guys are so damn bitter, but you know what? Go fight a war or something. Go join the army. Go step on a landmine. You know, go take your negativity out somewhere else. And I'm gonna develop the app. I'm telling you, the Bolo app. I'm gonna bully you, choke you right through the YouTube channel. Okay, so Supremakai, do I prefer whey with milk or water? I prefer it with water, just because milk will sometimes bloat me and stuff. But I will have milk with my espresso or with coffee and stuff. I do like milk, but as far as walking around with milk in my system, milk takes a long time to digest. So sometimes when I go to work out and stuff, if I have too much milk, I'll feel bloated and I'll retain a bit of water from it. So it's not the best diet type stuff, right? Yeah, Kurt, Bianchi, go play in traffic. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's so many, that's a funny thing. That's a funny thing. You know, I'm just going to have a moment with some of you guys that understand me on here. So many people are so negative, and I don't get it. I mean, I understand you can have grumpy moments. We all have grumpy moments. We're all like pissed at some times in our life or something. But if you're going to be grumpy and you're going to just piss on people, at least go piss on people where they can actually fight back. You know what I'm saying? Like, go have that fight. Go take out your aggression and then maybe take a few punches to the face at the same time and then really say, okay, I really enjoy negativity, right? But right now, what's happening on the internet is people are just throwing out negativity, but they're not having a repercussion from it. So they just get enabled and just being more and more negative, right? So, yeah, I really have a problem with that. Yeah. Okay. And then sometimes there's insanity that comes out. So, yeah. Okay, so Leon Cahill, top 5 supplements in my opinion. Top 5 supplements that would be healthy, you know, uh, and good for you in some way that I know of so far anyway. There's always new research and stuff coming out. But I'd say glutamine, creatine is good for putting on muscle mass and stuff, whey protein, and we're talking about bodybuilding supplements, so I'm not talking about other things as far as like vitamins and things. BCAAs are pretty good. And it seems like the citrulline is pretty good in there too, right? So I guess if I could just come off the top of my head, something like that would be good. Now, I know there's a blueberry extract that BioTest makes right now that's supposed to be called Indigo. I've never tried it, but I've heard that it's extremely good for helping stabilize blood sugar. So I think that's a really good supplement to check out too. Because Tony's reviews, why do I think people listen to some drug users and believe they're clean because they claim they're clean? Well, some of the guys that people think are not clean are actually clean. That's the frustrating thing I have, okay, to deal with, is that I've been dealing with people accusing me my whole life, and I've always known that I'm clean. So you can sense my frustration here when people come here and tell me that I did something that I didn't do. Now, that also happens with other people. But people want to believe that the conspiracy theory and the dishonesty is always the right thing, because the truth is a lot of the people that are believing that are also liars. You know, they think I'm a liar, so everybody else must be a liar. That's what they're thinking. So not everybody is lying. That's the problem. But it seems like it enables this laziness that people have. They're like, well, I can never get a physique, so that person just cheated to get it, so I can't do it. So I don't have to give up my drinking habit. I don't have to give up my eating potato chips and burgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know? So I think there's something like that that's going on. I think that people just want to believe something so that way it enables their behavior or their habits. And sometimes they want to just believe that being, you know, not accountable to anything is just normal. If I don't try to achieve anything, then that's fine. And I don't have any problem with people wanting to achieve or not, but don't make accusations about your lack of priorities in this certain realm and say that just because somebody else's priorities were different that somehow they cheated, right? No, it's all about priorities. Yeah, well, Tony reviews. I'm not saying there aren't people that are cheating and stuff. I'm not saying Scott is or not. I don't even know him. You know, and but the thing is, getting millions of followers on YouTube and millions of followers out there, like, society has always been a bunch of extremists, right? They don't necessarily care a lot of times in the entertainment industry about what's true. sometimes they don't care about what's pure. What they care about is what's most entertaining. That's what a lot of people care about, right? And the bigger the explosion, the bigger the sensationalism, sometimes the more followers will be attracted to that. So it's not necessarily about, you know, how to build a physique. Not all people are looking how to build a physique naturally. They're just looking for what's impressive. It's almost like they just enjoy watching that, right? So I think that's probably why some of these people have followers. Also, it also depends on how they market themselves. It depends on when they got on YouTube or when they got in their social media following. Sometimes they're just hitting a trend at the right time. That also plays a role, right? Unfortunately, you know, none of these things are helping me out because I'm just doing what I do, and at some point I'll just trust that if I keep on making content that helps you guys out, that somehow you'll promote it and it'll get out there, right? Tom Burke, I don't believe in SARMs, but I also don't really know much about them, but if they're anything to do with messing around with hormones, I don't believe in them, so. Nice to see you, Tom, though. Nice to see you. Hodge Mandinho, going for strength over mass. Any tips? If you're going for strength over mass, you don't need to go for failure, because if you're going for strength to weight ratio, especially, you don't really want to put on too much mass. So say you're a powerlifter and you're trying to stay in a certain division. That's why powerlifters, or one of the reasons why powerlifters don't hit failure. They don't hit failure in their sets a lot of times because they're trying to train that nervous system over and over and over again to activate and have the perfect groove, because so much about strength is about coordination, right? So when your coordination is perfect or perfected, right, you have a better groove, and you'll have the illusion of more strength because you'll be able to push that weight up because you're so efficient in how you're using that muscular energy, right? So from there, when you do multiple sets and you're not going to failure, you're also conserving a lot of your joints and stuff, because when you're hitting close to failure, sometimes, you know, the instability really comes, and that's when there's more of a risk of injury. And when you're using really heavy poundages, you don't want to be hitting failure too much, because you will burn out or you will increase the risk of injury. So if you're going for strength mainly over mass, I would not encourage you to go to failure when you're doing the heavy sets, that's for sure, right? You'd be better off just doing an extra set or so. Lucas Simmons, do I take creatine? I've talked about this a lot. No, not at this point. I find it makes me retain water, and then it's hard for me to tell what my diet is doing. Anonymous, do I do a lot of cardio? No, I don't. I barely ever do cardio. And when I get ready for a bodybuilding show, sometimes I'll do 20 minutes or 30 minutes on a bike a day. That's about it. I won't make comments on other people's videos. I'm not going to make comments on other people's videos, on other people's products, okay? They're not paying me, first of all. You know, and second of all, I don't really research other people, so I can't give you advice on it. I've seen some people's stuff. A lot of times I think, again, a lot of the channels out there are good in a lot of ways, but then shit in others, because they say there's this one way, and then they don't take into account that there's probably 2 or 3 ways to do an exercise or something based on how you are built, okay? So any channel out there, just know this, any channel, this is the channels that I'll like. If the channel says, hey, there are different ways to do things depending on what your goal is and depending on how you're built and how your genetics are, then I will like that channel. 100% I will resonate with that. But whenever I get into a channel where a guy says, oh, people are stupid if they do this or stupid if they do that, not interested in what they're saying. They are closed-minded, and they don't understand the variations that are going on in different human beings in most cases, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some rules. I mean, like, you know, if you jump headfirst 5 stories off a building and hit the concrete, most likely you're going to have a lot of injuries from that. Yeah, I believe in those types of rules, right? But I don't believe in the fanaticism, okay? So DSL dude, who would you like to do your first YouTube collaboration with, if anybody? Okay, I'm going to talk about this because I was thinking about this before. A lot of people always ask me, Jason, why don't you do a collaboration? Why don't you do a collaboration? And I just want to become honest with you guys, okay? YouTube, first and foremost, is a business, right? And I sell training programs on my website to help make this sustainable. I sell a couple t-shirts a month, which is like $4 or $5 a month. You know, I sell my music albums, right? So I make all my own music and stuff. So in order for these videos or for me to give free advice, sometimes I do have to make some money to spend the 30 hours a week doing this, okay? I need to make some money from somewhere. So a lot of times when you go to reach out to a YouTuber that is bigger than you, they will see that you are competition to them. So they have to get a benefit from doing a collaboration with you. And if you're not a benefit, like you're not offering them this huge audience or not giving them the possibility of making money from your audience, then they're not usually interested in doing a collaboration with you, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them, right? Especially when they've got 50,000 or 100,000 followers and I've got 5. They're like, well, shit, Jason, you're gaining a lot more than I am from doing this collaboration. Why would I collaborate with you? And so that's basically what's going on. So that's why you don't see a lot of collaborations. You don't see a lot of collaborations for people like myself, just because it's not a lot of people are interested. And then the people that are, a lot of times they are not as experienced as I am, and their philosophies disagree with a lot of the things that I am teaching. And I don't want to pretend to advocate what they're saying by putting them on my channel, right? I don't want to confuse you guys based on what you think that I'm saying. And if I get somebody on here that's saying the opposite of what I'm saying, and I have them on my channel, there's almost like a certain unsaid endorsement that I'm giving to this person, and I don't want to do that. So that's why you don't see me do collaborations as well. So yeah, if I do a collaboration, it will be with a pretty advanced person at some point. It'll be a person that I fully believe in what they're talking about for the most part. 80 to 90% of what they say has to be in resonance with what I agree with. Otherwise, I will not put them on my channel. Because why would I put somebody on my channel that I disagree with? It just doesn't make sense, right? Dominic Welsh, yeah, made your back bigger. Great, right on, man. Thanks for buying the tank top, Dominic. Thank you. Leon Cahill, any tips for a 17-year-old competing for first time in September? I did the week out bodybuilding contest prep video that it's only 2 videos ago. Watch that video. That'll give you some tips on how to get ready for the last week of your show. Captain Obvious, what do you mean by train the muscle, not the joints? I know you know the answer. Come on, man. You've seen the video. I actually did a video on that. What do I mean by train the muscle, not the joints? You've watched it? Kenzie SRB, what is it with my teeth? Teeth? Crooked here. I was born like that. I don't know what you mean by that, but otherwise that's it. And of course there's lighting, the weird lighting in this room, so it's not exactly the best. I've also got a big mouth, so that shadows my teeth quite a bit, so just so you know. Okay, so I'm just going here. See, I'm getting trolls that can't speak English. That's kind of funny. All right. Let me just scroll up here. Okay. Tom Burke's asking, what's my go-to bicep routine? Your arms are looking incredible. Okay, Tom, what's happened lately, okay, is that I've increased my protein intake through the protein powder. That's one thing that's helped, okay, because I think I was not taking in quite enough protein. Second of all, I increased my carbs a little bit because before I was really trying to go low carb and really trying to burn some fat. So once I burned a certain amount of fat, then I said, okay, good. Now I can start entering carbohydrates in my diet again. Not a lot, but enough. So that's helped with my body starting to grow again. Second of all, I increased the volume, but stayed with the same frequency of a 2-day split. So now I do a little bit more volume for my weaker points, right? So I want to bring the arms up and stuff, as well as the upper chest. 3 or 4, whatever number I'm on now, or C or D. I also, when I was doing incline curls, okay, incline curls were my favorite movement all the way through bodybuilding because it really hit the bicep brachii. It really hit this, okay? Really hit the bicep brachii. But what happened was, when I dislocated the shoulder, whenever I go heavy on incline curls, this shoulder would jam and it would start to hurt a bit. So I couldn't really do it. So I was doing more standing curls. And I found with standing curls, I'm getting more of the forearm and more in here. And I'm getting some bicep, but I'm not getting a lot of the real belly. I'm not getting that to failure. So I'm not getting that stretch in there. So the incline curl is what I've been able to start working my way into. I start going lighter and just holding my position, my elbow back, and making sure my elbow doesn't come forward too much, except for the last couple of sets or reps. And it seems like it's changed my groove a bit. So I've actually been able to rehabilitate the bicep to function properly without the shoulder jamming. And because of that, now my bicep is starting to come up again, right? And when the bicep comes up again from that, just 1 second here, I'm just going to deal with somebody here. So when the bicep comes up again from that stretch, that's what's happening. I'm really accessing that bicep. So the biceps hitting failure, not the forearm, not the shoulder, and that's really making a big difference on my biceps. So they're starting to come up again. They're still about half an inch to 3/4 of an inch smaller than they were at my peak. Okay, so a lot of it's muscle memory. It's coming back, but I have to basically get into those grooves where I actually get to stretch in the right muscle in order to really hit failure with that, right? So if I do my workout, my A workout 3 times a week for 3 weeks, and then my B workout the same way, then am I gaining extra workouts or losing? Is it better that I'm doing my A, B workouts every other day that way? Okay, so I don't know what you're saying. See what you did there. I know I'm supposed to see what you did there, but I don't know what, I can't see what you did there. I don't know what you're asking, okay? So just reword your question there. What you're supposed to do, if you're talking about the workouts from my website, if you do the A workout, you do the A workout for 3 weeks. You do that straight for 3 weeks, okay? And at least you can do it for 6 weeks if you want, or 3 months, or whatever you want. Then you go to the B workout, and then you do the B workout, right? That's the way it's designed. It isn't about, you don't mix and match it though. You don't mix it up if that's what you're saying, okay? Posse Cool Stick. Do I ever use bands instead of weights? No. Although there is some benefits to using bands, say with the rotator cuff muscles, or places where you want to hit some smaller muscle groups where you don't need a lot of tension. I think bands are good. I think also bands can be good for helping with increasing stability. You know, some people hang weights from the barbell and they're doing barbell presses to increase the stability and stuff. I think there can be some benefits, but I haven't messed around with that. I haven't felt the need to, but that doesn't mean it's not useful in some way. It probably is useful in some way for sure. Anonymous, do I ever use a pre-workout? I answered this in the beginning of the video. I use some BCAAs from time to time, but most of the time, no, I just have a coffee or something. Or right now I'm drinking protein powder during my workouts too. Sometimes I'll have like whey protein, right? Okay, can I reach my maximum muscle potential and still be able to practice flips? I'm lifting for a few years now. I put more time in lifting now, and I practice free running once. Yeah, Dwight, I think I recognize you. You have a YouTube channel too, I think, yeah, where you're flipping around stuff. Yes, you can. You can still flip. I was still throwing karate kicks and stuff. It's just that you might not be able to throw as many kicks, and you might not want to injure yourself. You know, you don't want to twist and fall funny and stuff like that. So if you can do the flips well without injuring yourself, then it won't impede your training. I think you'll be fine. Yeah. Hey, and Dwight, too, if you need music, you let me know. You reach out to me at naturalgallant@hotmail.com. Okay, so I have music, so you can promote my channel there, but you can use my music, so I'll let you do that. But you have to promote it. So email me first, we'll talk. Okay? Oh, Art Easy, Nicholas Wayne, yeah. No wonder I'm feeling the need to be on here for 3 hours. No wonder, Nicola, because you're stuck at the open house. So that's what I'm here on here for. I don't think Renee's here though. I think she tuned out. She was like, okay, I'm done with this place. I'm done. But yeah, yeah, cool, Dwight. Hey, backwoods north. You know, I don't. I've been natural my whole life, drug free. Take pride in that. I'm second generation natural bodybuilder. I have a twin brother that's also natural. So that's it. So you can believe me or not, but I've taken 10 polygraph tests, urine tests. I've even taken random urine tests, okay? When I did my photo shoot with Muscle Media magazine in 1997 and was featured in their magazine, they did, no TRT even. None of that shit. It's all fucking crap, okay? I'm gonna swear here. It's crap. I don't believe in it. I think it's stupid, and I think you have to be weak in order to depend on that shit. I'm here to teach how to be independent. I do not believe in that stuff. I don't. I don't have any problem with the people that do it. They might be nice people. I can love them anyway, but I do not believe in that way of life. I don't believe it. I don't believe in depending on a pill to get muscle. Who the hell wants to sign up for that effing deal, right? Weed and bodybuilding. I don't think it's good either. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Suprema Kai. All right, I'm gonna talk to you honestly here because you've been a nice guy. You made a couple comments that I didn't really like, but then you started to come right back around. So thank you for choosing connection rather than just being a troll. Okay, so thank you for that. Now you're asking me what about weed and bodybuilding? You smoke once every 2 months. Okay. I don't think that you're going to die or anything because you're doing that once every 2 months. Okay. So first of all, foremost, I still like you anyway. So I'm not judging you here. Okay. But I'm going to say that marijuana or weed is used as, okay, 1 second. I'm just going to get rid of this idiot. Not you that I'm answering, but this other person, other troll here. So weed is used as a painkiller in some cases, right? So I know there's different strains and all this, but in some cases this is what it's used. So let's just get simple here. So if something is a painkiller, that means it's shutting down your awareness of something, and maybe it's expanding in some other area, but it's shutting it down in another area. And if it's shutting it down on the physical level, it will impede your ability to connect to your body. And connecting to your body and experiencing all the sensations there is really necessary in order for you to make better decisions in how you train. So in that way, I think weed would not be good. Now, in my experience, I have watched several people that were chronic weed smokers, not like you, but they were doing it once a day or more, and they were going to the gym. And each one of these guys was tearing muscles like crazy and having all sorts of injuries come up, and they were not recovering. And a lot of times they would be doing something and just tearing a muscle with absolutely no warning because they were training numb and they could not feel the warning signs when something was going bad, right? So that's my 2 cents. I have no problem with your lifestyle choice, whatever you want to do. Maybe you have a medical reason why you're doing it. I have no problem with that. But if you're talking about strictly for bodybuilding, I don't think it has any application. I think it's going to impede your progress more than help. Benjamin Gatey, how many times do I drink alcohol a month? I don't think I've touched a beer or anything for about 5 years. I don't drink alcohol. Yeah, so I don't drink either. Drinking doesn't help bodybuilding gains. It's not that I have some sort of moral sort of torch I'm carrying about this, but alcohol basically always, like years and years ago when I drank once a year or something like that, I would drink and go with my friends and party it up, and I noticed that 7 days in a row my training would be shit. I would not feel a pump. I could not recover. I felt like my strength would go down a bit. The next day I could almost feel okay, but then as I went about the week I noticed that my pump was gone. So alcohol, people underestimate how much alcohol impedes your gains in the gym. So I don't work out. I work out, but I don't drink, yeah. No problem there, Supremakai. Yeah, thanks for being, like I said, I appreciate all of you guys on here that have been weathering some of the troll storm. Okay, some of you guys have been weathering this and still here anyway. But thanks to you guys that are just honestly reaching out with questions. I mean, that's what we're here to do, is just discuss things and talk. And I could just share my experience because I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. It's not like I've just seen a couple things. Everything from seeing a guy that I was friends with, and do some horrible things in high school and end up in jail for most of his life. Like, I mean, there's some stuff that I've seen. Okay, and I can share that experience, and that's what this channel's about, right? But I have no problem with setting boundaries either, as you guys will know. And some of these guys, like I said, they're just lucky I don't have the choke you through the YouTube app yet. But I will be developing. Somebody's gonna develop that, and this hand is just gonna come right through. You make a troll comment, and it's just gonna. Do I jujitsu much? The funny thing is, so he's just asking me about jujitsu. Okay. Backwoods north. Okay, do I jujitsu? I used to do karate for 10 years, and I know that's not jiu-jitsu, but I did karate for 10 years. I was a karate instructor, and I was a total Van Damme enthusiast most of my childhood. And I probably would have got into it. The jiu-jitsu thing was really coming out when I was about 24, 25, and I was really into my bodybuilding career, and I knew that, one wrong pull on the joint or something could, cause a muscle tear or problem, and I didn't want to risk an injury by going into jiu-jitsu. But I did really like it. I had a fascination with it. And I think if everything, like jiu-jitsu and everything, would have come out at a different time when I was in karate, if it was like more popular, the MMA thing and everything like that, I might have got into that. I might have actually got into it as my main sport. So yeah, I have an immense amount of respect for the martial arts and stuff. I just love all that stuff. And I love Conor McGregor, and he's cocky and funny as hell, and I just love watching that guy too. So yeah. Yeah, Wonder Boy. Yeah, that's the thing. Backwoods North. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, Wonder Boy Thompson is the shit. That's the thing. Karate. Every martial art has its advantages, right? But karate is the king of the one punch or the one strike. It's basically learning the timing and the distance for that one hit, right? But boxing is more about, you got the bigger padded gloves, and it's more about the strategy of weathering the endurance storm. Say a guy can duck that first hit, and now boxing is more the strategy around that. And jiu-jitsu, of course, and wrestling is all about, once everything gets to the ground, what do you do, right? So, but karate it's definitely really great for that strategic one hit. The first hit, how to start the fight, it's a pretty powerful thing. Thanks, Damien Weber. Thanks for that. That's a nice comment. Thank you for that. Maheshan Govender, thanks for the positivity there, buddy. Appreciate the advice and your personality in general. Bodybuilding and spirituality for the win. Thank you. I can't read Russian, so sorry about this. I'm not trying to be offensive or anything. I can't read Russian, but you're saying is 16 the best age to begin to pump iron? I started when I was 14 years old. I think you can start at any age, honestly, as long as you're not lifting super heavy, like 5 reps, 6 reps straining. I think that's when it becomes devastating for younger people. When they get obsessed with lifting too heavy weights. Like I was lucky because my dad would say, Jason, just stick to sets of 10 and do 4 sets of 10. And when you can do 4 sets of 10 of something, then move up in weight. And that's how I started. And I think that was a good way to start because if you lift too heavy, then you can injure yourself. And whenever you're injuring areas, it doesn't matter whether you're young or old, it's not a positive thing. So I think being conservative as you're growing is a good thing because obviously when you're growing, you go through periods of instability. I mean, you'll see the average teenager, okay? You'll see a guy that all of a sudden he's like 5'8" and all of a sudden he's 5'10". Bang! Total change, right? Well, the coordination is going to be a little bit more unstable and less coordinated during that time. And that's when the risk of injury will go up. So that's why it's important when you're younger and you're still growing to be a little bit more conservative how much you're straining because your body is going through these shifts. It's like the tectonic plates of the planet are shifting on you. And as the shifting is happening, then the muscles have to reset and rebalance. So I think if you do it conservatively, I think it could be really good as I readjust my neck. Oh, Shibity, the streamer showed up on your homepage. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks. That's why I do these once a week on Saturdays just to reach out to new people because it seems like YouTube's algorithm is not necessarily promoting the channel as well as it used to. So just so you guys know, if any of you haven't, click on the bell icon down below and click on receive notifications so that way you will get my videos this week because I put up videos almost every single day. Okay, so I try to cover as much advice and help you out as much as I can and be an idiot from time to time too because that's all part of it. Robin H. Mike Chang. What do you say Mike Chang for? What's going on here, man? Lucas Simmons, near Vancouver. What's going on? That's where I live, yeah. Okay. See what I did there. UFC said, yeah, wrestler versus boxer. The wrestler usually wins. You'd have never thought. Yeah, I think that's true. The wrestler usually would win just because when you can avoid a punch, or most people can take a punch if it's kind of a glancing blow, and it's really hard to hit that, that first real solid blow if somebody knows how to move around a bit. So yeah, that's usually why the wrestler, they might take a blow, get a black eye, but then they'll take you to the ground and then that'll be over, right? So yeah. Favorite cheat meal? I'm going to the Frogstone Grill tonight and have a cheat meal. I'm going to have Thai chicken pizza. It's like this sweet peanut sauce with man, it's unbelievable. So that's where I'm going. That's my favorite cheat meal right now. Ice cream is also the other one, like Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I love this vanilla Swiss almond. Backwoods North, am I a big fan of kettlebells? Not really. I don't use kettlebells. Maybe they're good, but I never use them. I see people doing all this stuff. There's always a new trend, always something new, but I just believe in the basics are the king, I just do the basics, and it seems to work. Okay, so Dwight, you'd like to take naps during the day, but you simply can't fall asleep when you want. Any tips for napping? I don't know. Honestly, this is something that just comes easily for me, so this could be kind of a hard one for me to give you tips on. A good blanket and a cat, and there you go, out like a light, right? That's my cat's on my bed right now. The thing is that you can just relax a bit. If you find that your mind's really busy, though, I don't know if you're one of those high-strung sort of dudes. So if you're a really high-strung person, then maybe you need to start a meditation practice or something. Maybe that will help. Maybe your mind is what's keeping you awake. I don't know. Maybe it's your body. I don't know. Because different people, different constitutions, different people have different tendencies, But I find that sleep comes easy to me. So I don't have a technique for it. It's never been, maybe that's where I'm a ninja. I'm like a nap master, like a nap ninja master. So yeah. Perry B, would I ever do CrossFit? I would say no. In this way, okay? Because I dislocated my shoulder in hockey, so doing CrossFit and have my joints way back like this, and this would pop my shoulder out and cause me a whole bunch of problems, right? First of all. Second of all, my femurs are really long, so for me to stand straight up and down, have the bar over my head and do Olympic type lift, not really working for me. I'd have to be bent over like this, and that's not exactly how you Olympic lift. So I'd have to put extra stress on my knees by putting my knees way over my toes, twisting. It would cause my knees a whole bunch of problems. So yeah, CrossFit and me don't really get along. I wouldn't be doing it. I'm 43 there, Benjamin. Napster, get it? Yeah, there you go. French bastard. Okay. Yeah, shoot them up. You're talking about melatonin and everything. Yeah, I don't take any of that shit either. So I know I know it's like something that people recommend. And it's pretty normal, but I don't take any of that stuff. Yeah, Maz Avran. Yeah, when you got the adrenaline going, you are stronger for sure. But the only thing you're gonna have to watch though, if you work out angry, you will have a tendency to probably injure yourself a bit too because you'll push through some things that you might not or should not push through. Okay, so that's the other thing. Peter Fisher, do I ever have a cheat day? Yes, I do. Today is going to be my cheat day. I'm going to have pizza tonight after this long call. I've been on here for 3 hours now. 3 hours. 3 hours, man. How many super chats I got in there? Let me see here. How many super chats I got? $5 for 3 hours. My hourly rate is horrible. This is like, I made $5. After YouTube takes its percentage, I got $3. I'm making $1 an hour. See? Don't call me a success story. Hey? Yeah. So any of you guys, if you want to donate a super chat for this call, that'd be great. I've been on here for 3 hours, and yeah. So if you want to do it through my website, that's okay too. That helps me be able to do this. If you want to donate by sharing my videos, that's okay too. You know, if you want to support me in whatever way, I know not all of you have money. That's okay. I get it. I've been broke. I know what that's like. So if you want to promote my channel or help me out that way, that is also great. Okay, so you don't have to give money, but maybe you can share one of my videos on your Facebook page or on your Twitter or on your Pinterest or Google or whatever it is you share it on. That really helps me out. So thanks a lot for any of that stuff that you guys do in advance. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Yeah. Okay, Perka Bojan. My legs are lagging behind in relation to upper body. Is it good to train them 2 or more times a week? Any suggestions for leg specializing? Okay, training. Uh, I have the programs on my website. I know I've said this a couple times, but seriously, try it out. Okay, one of my programs on my website, you train body parts 3 times a week. I vary the rep ranges up. I show you the different rep ranges. I show you the sets, the reps, everything, the exercises even. And it's a good template for you to start with, and you will see that you will grow legs better this way. Okay, so my legs are not my weak link, not my weak link. Neither are my arms and a few body parts. But I found that sometimes people underestimate the value of different training splits. Now, what I mean is a 2-day split will give you one benefit, a 3-day split will give you another, a 4-day split will give you another, and a 1-day split will give you another, the whole body workouts. Okay, so there are different ways to split the body up, and sometimes what you've been doing is probably working, but it's probably worked as good as it's going to work for now, and now you got to bring up a different weak link. And so then it's good to change the workout routine. Okay, so if you want, go to my website, naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, purchase one of the programs, and start playing around with that. And I'm not a personal trainer or certified medical professional or anything, but this is an example or a structure of what I did in order to grow legs and stuff. Okay, so yes, sometimes training legs a little bit more often can work, and changing the rep ranges up for sure. Have I ever done direct neck training, like neck curls or leg extension or neck extension? Sorry, yes, I have here and there, but not. I didn't like it so much, so I didn't do it. I started YouTube about 4 years ago, 5 years, 5 years ago actually. One second, I'm just dealing with some here. Yeah, Luciano. Yeah, lots of haters. Channel's growing. Yeah, I know. Some people are funny. Yeah, lots of times you got to go through walls of hate. Hey, but hey, it's a Christian holiday right now, and if Jesus got crucified, why wouldn't I guess, eh? It's just the way it is. Okay. Next question. Let me see here. When do I add calves to my workout? With legs or upper body? It doesn't matter. Either one. Doesn't matter. Sometimes Sometimes I add it to my leg workout, and sometimes I'll add it to my chest and back and bicep workout. See what I did there. Is it better to work out the same body part every other day or to have a 2-day rest period? I think both are good depending on the volume. Thank you, DSL dude. Thanks for the donation there. $3. Thank you. Uh, it depends. It depends on how much volume you're doing and depending on what your body is already adapted to. Okay. So I find a 2 day split works best for me. I find training a body part every 2 days works best for me. I find 3 or 4 days off is just a bit too much rest. Even if I do a little bit of a higher volume, it seems like my body is almost like needing a little bit more stimulus than that. But depending on how much weight I'm lifting, depending on the intensity, like if I'm doing 5 plates for squats and stuff, that's a whole different level of intensity on the overall system. And sometimes I will need an extra day off, or I'll have to basically do a super light leg workout the next time I hit legs, right? Peter Fisher, what kind of cardio training do I do? I don't really do too much cardio training. I just rely on my high rep workouts to really burn the calories. And sometimes I will do bike riding and stuff. I will do cardio on a bike if I'm getting ready for a contest or something, but I haven't really done that much. I did spend 10 years of doing intense cardio with hockey and things, but yeah, as I'm training, I'm using all my energy for weight training at this point, right? Yeah, no problem there. See what I did there. Thanks for the good questions. You've been saying some good questions today. So, like I said, I do also see what you did there. I'll call you see what you did there, not see what I did there. I have workout programs on my website, so check that out. naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. You can see the structures that I have applicable, and I will have a 3 day split up there soon. I will be writing that this week, actually. Steven Spearing, your thoughts on peanut butter as a protein snack? I would say it's a fat snack, but not necessarily a protein snack. There's a little bit of protein in there, but the amount of protein doesn't really classify it as a protein snack. I would say it's pretty high fat. So a lot of people eat cheese and sometimes peanut butter for protein, and they end up really out of shape. So yeah, it's more a treat and a healthier treat, I would say. Yeah. Hillary O. Clinton, you'll be retiring in 3 years, but in the meantime, you still hold 4 major titles. Okay, it's good for you. I don't know what it is. Is that like a bird thing? Squawk. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Squawk. What do you just? Is this just random tips now, or what? What are we doing here? Just sharing things? It's sunny outside. The sky's blue. Okay, see you, French bastard. Thanks for being here. All right. Okay, I think this is good. I think I've pretty much. Billy sign the contract. Yeah, what contract, Billy? Billy, are you sending me some money? Are you sending me some money? Like, what kind of contract is this? Hey, it's so funny. What is this like? Let's have a dance off. That's better, Billy. Let's have a dance off. Hey, let's do that. You want to have a you have a pissing contest with me? Let's do that. Let's have a dance off. I'll send the music. You got to make a video. You popping and locking. See if you can win the title there. Hey, that'd be a better video. I think that'd be more entertaining. Billy O'Clinton, if you're bench pressing 580, awesome. That's fucking great. That's really impressive stuff. That's pretty good if you are. Something tells me that you might not be. And Senior Cali Linux, no, I don't. That's not natural crap. This is a natural bodybuilding channel. I don't use synthol, of course. That's just dumb. You have to be mentally ill to use that crap. Benjamin Gate, you have trouble putting your clothes on? No, I don't have trouble putting my clothes on. I usually know, just so you know, I usually know the zipper goes in the front when it comes to pants. But I wouldn't be surprised if I make a mistake in that at some point. Sometimes the zipper's back. I don't know. It's really confusing. Front, back. I can't get it right. Socks. I can't match them. But otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty good. Bodybuilding hasn't impeded me otherwise. Yeah, neuroserpins. Google symmetric strength standards. There's a table there for women. Because somebody asked about how strong is it, how possible is it for women to have strength and all this kind of stuff. And there are certain tables that are made on the internet, okay? And I'm going to tell you that some of these tables are shit because some of them say like natural stipulations of how much body mass index a person can have and all that kind of stuff if they're natural, and if they have over that, then they're not, or whatever. I'm going to tell you a lot of this stuff, you cannot table this stuff, because the studies they're doing on people are not necessarily within the bounds of the elite. Okay, so the tables can only give you a general understanding, but not an absolute one. Sat Z, how old were you when you started weightlifting? 14. Yeah, neural serpents, thanks. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I understand that's what you're saying, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so you said no, dude. I just said that because I've seen a lot of strength references, and this is the best for general reference. Yeah, thank you. That's true. So you and I both totally agree on that. Yeah, general references are good for sure. I just find that some people misunderstand. They take a general reference and then they make it as an absolute, and then that's where there's a problem. Anonymous is asking, do I deadlift regularly? No, I do not. I Romanian deadlift regularly, but I do not powerlifting deadlift regularly because it's not right for me. I find I use too much lower back and it strains the ligaments and tendons in there, and it doesn't actually work me because when I'm bent over straight over, my arms are still not touching the floor. So it's just the way I'm built. Long femur, shorter arms. Deadlift is not a perfectly anatomically correct type of movement for me, but the Romanian deadlift really is, so that's why I do that. Okay, so Jose Fonseca, do you think casein protein is a must? It's quite expensive, and I can get way more whey protein. I don't think anything's a necessity. I think as long as you're willing to eat, that's the necessity. You know, so you either have to get protein from there, or you have to get protein from chicken or something. Just so you know, meat is a slower release type protein, so you don't have to have casein to do that. I think if you ate chicken or steak or fish or whatever, these are slower releasing proteins because your body's digesting it, right? It's just that these are whey proteins that are slower digesting because usually whey protein gets absorbed in your system really fast. So casein is somewhere in between where it gets, I guess, released slower, and it has some other factors in there. But I can tell you I've made a lot of muscle mass gains without casein. So it's not like casein's the missing link in your training. You know what I'm saying? There could be some benefit. There could. But I've made a lot of gains without casein in my diet. So Spiros, when will I release Program C? It depends for which program you're talking about. The whole body workout are you talking about? Because I have the 2-day split A, B, and C on my website at this point. So the whole body workout, I will be releasing that at some point, but first I'm going to work on the 3-day split program. Oh, D you're talking about. Okay, so I will have D in the next a couple months, probably. Month to 2 months. I'll probably put that up there. Right now I'm going to work on the 3-day splits because I feel that there's some people that want that 3-day split more closer to a bro split system, so I'm going to make a routine for that. So what I would recommend is that people use the 2-day split A, B, C, D, you know, and then they go to the 3-day split A, B, C, D, and then maybe the whole body workout A, B, C, D, and then they kind of rotate them around so they can kind of avoid a little bit of overtraining that way, and plateaus as well. Yeah. Here's my arm. Somebody's saying, show my back. Okay, I'm not really in the right position to show your back. Boom, right? Can't really show the back. Kind of cramped up in a room here. I'm not really in the right position, so sorry about that, but yeah. But anyway, let me see. One more question here. Let me see. One more question. Okay, so you're on a high-fat diet, Alexander Magan, and you feel bloated. Should you stop the diet? Okay. Depends what you're adding. If you're on a high-fat diet, are you also eating carbs? You know, that's the thing. Are you also eating a lot of carbs? Like, what are you eating for carbs? Right? If you're combining carbs and fats together, this can be a problem because your body sometimes will get bloated from that. But it also depends on the type of fats you're eating. So if you're eating a lot of deep fried fats, you're eating a lot of just crap fats, that stuff will bloat you too because it's not really a natural fat for your body to digest, right? It just, the structure's all wrong. So if you're eating a higher fat diet, I would recommend if you're going to fry your fat like steak or something like that in a pan, and you don't add extra fat to it, have you know the naturally occurring fat that's happening in the food, but don't be adding extra fat. You know, don't be adding stuff, and don't be deep frying things and stuff because now that defeats the purpose. You're just taking in extraneous fat when you're already getting enough, right? So if you're getting bloated, then maybe your fat intake is too high. You need to cut that back a little bit, or you're combining carbs and fats together, and that's definitely going to cause a bloated sort of feeling. The other thing that could be going on, because I'm not really seeing any answer here to my questions. Anonymous, I squat all the time. You can see anonymous. You're asking some questions, but actually just watch my workout vlogs. Just go down here, click on the videos, or the playlists and workout vlogs. Look at the workout vlogs. You'll see that I squat all the time. I squat and I do bench presses and everything. So you'll see what I do. So let me just check here to see if somebody's responded here. Okay, so Alexander Magan, you're on a high-fat diet and you feel bloated a lot. Should you stop this diet or push through? So if you're bloated, also the other thing is you might be low in fiber. So you might need to start increasing your fiber intake through psyllium husk, or you may need to do a carb day where you're doing some brown rice or some yam or something with a little bit higher fiber to help push that food through as well. So if you're having problems with your digestion, then sometimes when you are on the lower carb type diets and higher fat, your body will need some extra fiber. That's a fact, right? It's not really built to be just taking in just straight protein all the time with no fiber to help push that through the digestive system. So that can cause some bloating. Un tip Clara, yes, I am natural. Yes, I'm 100% natural. Brian McKenzie, yeah, thanks, no problem, Brian. Thanks for being here. Don't worry about messing around with the programs and BNC. You just trust me. I've picked the different programs and different exercises for a reason to hit various parts of the shoulders. Okay, so just trust me on that. That's why I only included an exercise in one area and then I changed up. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. I think this will conclude today. I'm 3 hours and 20 minutes or 3 hours and 15 minutes on here. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will be posting another video for tomorrow and every day this week pretty much, and I will also be doing this live thing on Saturday next week again, okay? So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.